We're gonna chat a little bit. We're gonna chat a little bit. We're going to society. Yeah, we're gonna chat a little bit. We have 2 reviews today and some Ask Spilo. So anything that you guys want to chat about, we can chat about. We've got about, let's say, we'll give it 10 minutes before we do our review with Ty Nelden. And then after that, we have another review afterwards. So I believe it's main tank and tracer, I believe is what we're going over today. Your command broke. You're just mad you're relative. You know, shut up. Just shut up. That literally did it on purpose. Hey, love you too, Bold. Some ass? What? Wish you luck, Spilo. We're playing Temporal Team. Good luck, mate. Good luck. You'll do fine. Oh my gosh. He's sitting back here with a knife. Hi, I decided to finally play Overwatch Ranked with proper goals for improvement. New peak, but most importantly, I feel the improvement, and I have not worked on the goal for 1 week. Wait, let me read this again. I'm not turning around again. Is Chips joining the London Spitfire? Don't ask me questions I really should not be answering. With proper goals for improvements, new peak, but most importantly, I feel the improvement, and I have not even worked on the goal for a week. Oh, I see what you're saying, ASCII. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. Good for you. Myers in the back. You know, you're gonna get me banned from Twitch if you're not careful.
No, it's a present.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Is that a cut? You got the cup of sandwich. Okay, great, guys. Hey, Lap. I think there's something wrong with your cam. Yeah, shut up, idiot. Is this allowed on Twitch? It's too scary. You said... Oh, ask Spilo. Oh, I was so confused. Hey, Fossis. Now, Lep has a perfectly functional brain. The problem is that between the brain and the mouth, something happens. There's an interception. And the whatever function in the brain that's probably working just fine just falls out. Something goes terribly wrong. Hey, Fossis. Okay. But yeah, so exciting stuff for London. Stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say. Fun stuff for London. I love and hate off season. It's a lot of fun. I love bringing on new players, but it's also very stressful and sad because I wish a lot more players could be in Overwatch League. Insider information. If you ask me questions, I can maybe give you some information, but I might not be able to. Depends on the questions that you ask. Depends on the questions that you ask. You ever wake up and your jaw is just like, no, we're not working today. That's today. I don't know why. I'm not spilling any beans. Okay, hot take, beans suck. Beans suck. Is there a good bean?
Black beans are the most useful.
I mean, they're not gross, they're just super boring. Black beans are boring, garbanzo beans are boring, kidney beans are boring. You keeping some of the old players? Well, yes, Shaxx and Spark are coming back. That's not new news though. When are the British players getting announced? I'm not sure the details, but I assume relatively soon. How dare you, beans are amazing. Shut up. Hey Alexa. Garbanzo beans are okay. Baked beans are pretty good. You guys ever have like baked beans? But that's more like that's less like beans and more like just raw syrup. We just spoon it down. Baked beans get a bad rap because of like all the memes about them, but they actually taste pretty good. You're gonna cry if Chips joins? You'll get over it. Yeah, I remember eating plates of garbanzo beans. Maybe. Ugh. How you get Glister? How you got? I'm not working with Paris. Nepotism type beat. Yeah. Maldmore. You're just mad that he's the greatest flex DPS in Europe right now. So I just joined. Are we dunking on baked beans? No. Baked beans is fine in like small doses. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. I guess we can get started soon. The creepy music is quickly wearing out its welcome. Yeah, we can get started. So here's the deal. Okay. So I was supposed to stream longer ago, but then you see this. It's a box. There's a lot of boxes. We're moving. Crap happens. I'm moving down south. So I was supposed to stream, do more of these things, but then now we're moving. So now I had less time than I thought. And then we were also trialing earlier than I thought. So I had less time than I thought. So we're still going to be coaching. We're still going to be doing those things. It's just going to be like a little here, a little there, a little bit of that there, here and there. Also, yes.
Wow.
These are Christmas pants.
What about Halloween?
These are Christmas pants. I honestly did not think it through. I just put on the first pair of pants I saw after I got out of the shower. And so I don't really care. But yeah. We'll get started in a second. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. Oh, toots. I gotta log into my... Hang on, chat. I gotta log into my stupid Twitch account here. Please don't bring that near me. So, the Jokerification of Spilo. Yep. Okay, there I am. Yeah, okay, I think our chat's already... why am I getting a Chucky ad in my phone? Okay. Why is everyone black and white? Stux had a black and white cam yesterday. Oh, I think Stux just does that. Today was just the funny thing. Okay, let's, get rolled, Beauty. Again, twice in a row. RKO'd. Oops, I gotta plug this in. So, we're gonna get started, and let me get my Overwatch pulled up, and then we're gonna get rolling. I did not think Smile's face could get any scarier. Shut up. Opinions on society. It sucks. Society sucks, man. It's just not fair what it does to society. You know, open a can of worms and everyone freaks out. But have a bunch of worms dry out and die on the asphalt and everybody's fine with it. Freaking weird, man. Makes no sense. And you take those very same people and you try and make them eat the can of worms. Doesn't matter if they're fresh or they're dry and dead on the asphalt. They won't eat either one. And that never really made sense to me. Okay. Let's get of the awful game overlay. And then let's see if Tyneldon is ready. No. So handsome, thank you, Danny. This is what's going to happen to you if your tanks pick Hog Diva. More like, this is what happens when your tank is a Hog player. This is how Hog players function right now. Okay, so we're going to get ready to roll. Yo, how's it going?
Hi, I'm doing well.
Good. All right, let me get this thing, let's try and streamline things. So while I'm getting all this situated, do you want to kind of introduce yourself, your rank, the hero you're playing, what you're looking for? Yeah, all your life secrets, that sort of thing.
So my rank kind of fluctuates between like low diamond, high plat, depending on how I'm doing. But we're in like a mid diamond league right now, and this was our playoff game, and we actually lost this, but it went like double over or single overtime. But
okay,
real close game.
Okay. Now you're gonna tell me that your name isn't Harry Styles in game.
No, that's the other team.
Oh.
And that guy talked a lot.
Okay. And which one are you? The main tank?
Nodlin? The monkey, yep.
Okay. And then you play Winston here, and then you said Ryan as well, or am I misremembering?
Yeah, Winston and Ryan.
Right. Okay, you're going to make me spot off with another society joke if you we're going to say that you were Harry Styles, but okay. Yeah, so just kind of introduce, like, what are you looking to work on? Like, what's the context of this replay? All that kind of crap.
So the game that we're playing against is like just stupid aggressive, and we're not very good. Like, we've gotten to where we can engage first on our own timings most of the time when we want to, but they were just like literally hard inting into us, and we were having trouble responding to it. So I guess just how to counter that aggression. Okay.
What about you individually? Is there anything that you're looking to improve at individually?
Besides like syncing up with my main more, not specifically from this code.
Okay. So what are you looking for from this review? Like, what do you want? Like, you said specifically like how to deal with their aggression, but to be honest with you, that's just kind of vague, and it's going to be very specific, and then we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to move on, and then I'm going to call the VOD review 5 minutes, and you've wasted all your money. So what really, like, I mean, obviously I will have stuff that stands out to me, but like like expand your horizon a little bit. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want answered? What questions?
And there's not like specific questions other than just how do I deal with, because like their Ryan would literally just pin in, and even if I counter pin him, I feel like I would die before he did. So I don't know if my positioning on that is bad or if I'm just waiting too long. Or...
Okay, so just some general solving of like what we needed to clean up here and there. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a scrimmage, yeah, or like a tournament game.
Yeah.
Okay. And how often do you guys scrimmage together, play with your teammates?
It's at least one scrim and then one like match, but we try to do 2 scrims in a game if we can.
Okay. What is your communication generally like? Are you like a shot caller IGL? Are you just more quiet? Does somebody else shot call? Like, how does that work?
I shot call rotations. If we're running this comp, our Sombra usually is the one scouting.
Okay.
Our Moira is usually the one telling us when we need to come back because of field resource, but for the most part, I do a lot of calmings, like pathing target.
Okay. So that's going to be very important, and I think that's good that main tank is taking responsibility for that, because that means that you can fix more things. But that also means that if I see something terribly wrong, I'm going to blame you, or at least we're going to talk about it. We're going to figure out like why is this happening here? Because you are the one pulling the leash, essentially. Like you're the one that like lets the dog go whenever you want to go. So that means your teammates need to be ready. It needs to be a good engage, all that kind of crap. Do you have any other questions or anything else you want to get out in the air before we start?
Not right now. Maybe later.
Okay, let's look at this then. So before we like actually get rolling, it's now my turn to ask you a question. Questions. Why Monkey? What is the purpose of Monkey in this composition? What are you trying to do?
It's very mobile. Like that's kind of the whole point of this comp is that while it's not actually a brawl comp, it has brawl capabilities, but it can also dive onto targets mid-fight if I need to.
Why not Baldwin?
Honestly, more comfortable with the Monkey, really.
Okay. Why do you think Monkey is played even by teams that might have a more comfortable ball player?
I think it's just a little more staying power with the shield.
I would agree with that. Okay. So what's your job going to be in this composition, in this matchup, let's say? Like, what do you need to do? How do you beat this composition?
We just have to rotate on top of them. Stacking, like, or not stacking, sorry, alternating, like, Winston Bubble and DM and Lucio Amp for rotations. Okay,
sounds good. So I think you have a pretty good understanding of, like, what you need to be doing for this to be successful. So then the question is just, why is this not working as well as it is? And so we'll try and answer that question. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So, we're gonna rotate. Nice. And by the way, in this long of a rotation, you can absolutely use Bubble here. Why? Why would you think that would be okay?
Because by the time we're ready to engage again, I should have it back.
Exactly. There's zero chance that you're going to need or want Bubble anytime before you actually engage. Unless this Ashe is like legitimately feeding, but that's probably not much of a, like, not much, something you're really concerned about. I would be almost concerned about like unlucky halt, your Lucio gets headshot, that kind of thing. So like just use your Bubble to rotate here. Okay, this is much easier to rotate with safely. Okay. Okay.
This will improve your condition.
So I'm a little concerned because this is you're wasting a lot of time right now, a lot of time. Like what are we waiting for at this point? So like you are healed up, you should be rotating now, right now. Do you remember what the communication was like at this point in the replay?
There's a lot of back and forth on how we should, if we want to go right side or if we want to go left and force the Ashe off.
Okay. So what do you think?
We ended up going left and forced the Ashe off, and we won the fight off of it. But I think
we got
kind of lucky because she messed up her coach gun.
Okay, I would agree. I think going left is really, really, really stupid. Unless you have like a set hack on that Ashe or Diva and some sort of cut, I think it's really stupid. Because what's going to happen is you're going to 3, 2, 1, you're going to jump, and she's just going to run away, and then what happens then? So tell me what should have happened here. Like, what would have been better?
Should have just made our normal right side rotation around the catwalk.
Okay. And why is speed important here?
Because it's a very long rotation, and when we scrim it, we practice, like, we DM out the door and we hold amp until we're on like the back side of catwalk, and then we amp as we're rounding the corner.
Okay. Let me clarify. Why is setting up this rotation quickly also important and not wasting time?
So they don't have time to rotate out of it?
Exactly. And ultimately, you guys are on the timer here. Like, you guys are on attack. Because if we look at this, like with the debate, I don't want to like overanalyze this too much. But like by the time you guys actually rotate, when you could have actually rotated. I mean, that was 12 seconds where literally nothing happens. So I want you to like be fine with having these sort of discussions, but ultimately you do want to try and push the pace a little bit. And that's where you can come into play, because ultimately you are the guy making these calls, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, what's the issue here with your composition? Now, I'm not blaming you for this, but if you're the one shot calling and you're the one that's taking the initiative for your team to improve, what's a major, major issue with what's happening right now?
The Lucio up front.
Okay, what else? More important than that. Let me simplify this
I don't
for
know,
you.
I guess.
What do you not see right now? Where's my red?
All behind.
All behind. Where's my cut? Where's my angle? Where's my pincer? Right? All this Ashe doesn't even need to coach gun. She could even just drop, run away, and she would be fine. She could even mess up her coach gun to the opposite high ground. What is your Sombra doing?
We've actually tried to get our Sombra to play more out of us, because they've had a problem before of getting scouted ahead of time.
Okay.
So we're trying to like start default from the core. And
So
then spread
that
out.
to be honest with you, that seems like a band-aid for a really sloppy band-aid for a solution that should be found elsewhere. So I know I'm not coaching Sombra right now, but name 3 places that your Sombra could set up without being spy checked that would be better than where she is now. Give me 3.
She'd be like inside of the room on point, maybe.
Okay. Where else?
And then touch like straight across from where you're looking now by the mini stairs.
Okay. Where else?
And then I guess she could just play directly under their high ground.
Okay. Yep.
Like toward backup point, maybe too.
Yep. All of them. All of them would be better than where she is right now. Okay. Just a thought, a discussion point that needs to happen, because this dive, she should be sitting AFK, holding mouse 1 in just to come out of stealth right here. There's no way she gets spy check like this. No way. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Are you doing the correct thing right now?
I thought I was until you asked me like that.
So when I ask you questions like this, I'm going to come across as antagonizing just a little bit, but that's mostly just because I want you to defend your position, or I want you to think about your position, more importantly. The point should be that not that you have to feel like this is a debate or a discussion, or you have to be on the defense. I just want you to be in the habit of, when you're reviewing these things on your own, you second guess everything. But when you get into a scrimmage, you second guess nothing. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can go back and think about it afterwards, but right now there's no second guessing when you're actually acting. But when you review it, even some of the more simple actions, think about it. Take the time to think about it. Is this the best engage that you could possibly have done from what you're doing here, right? From coming from this angle. Do you think this is the proper move?
I think so. I was trying to get above her, so if she did coach gun, I could still get enough damage on her.
Yeah, that seems perfectly reasonable. So I agree. So it's not an attack. I'm just making you think about it. And that's going to happen a lot during this review, by the way. Great discipline with the bubble. Really, really min-maxing the value you get out of that. And honestly, you might not have even needed it, but like once you started to lose some of your armor, you plopped it down, and I'm always a fan of that. Keep yourself in your armor threshold. Even if you're like, oh man, I didn't end up needing it, like that's just, most of the time you're going to need it at the point that you used it there. So that was really smart. Now, Mr. Shot Caller, Mr. Alpha main tank guy still playing monkey. What do you do?
We just play under point. They don't really have a lot of brawl potential, and if they try to poke us out, they have to expose themselves really bad.
Okay, so what should the call be here? I want a very detailed call, but that is said in like 6 words tops, if that makes any sense.
Play under high ground, don't peek.
Don't peek, exactly. Don't peek, chill. Don't peek, chill, exactly. Hide, right? Exactly. That's a great way of saying it. Because even if you do, like for example, like what your Diva's doing, atrocious, like your Lucio, atrocious, Sombra, atrocious. What might happen if they stay here?
They could very easily get one shot by Hanzo.
Or
pulled and comboed. And...
Right, pulled, comboed. They could get Translocator forced. You could get your Amp forced. You could have your Lucio demand a lot of healing spray. All sorts of things. Force your Matrix, all sorts of stuff. Okay.
Let's coordinate.
Now, thankfully, they walk into you. So that's nice. So this is where it gets a little tricky, because you're like, do I jump the high ground? Do I jump the low ground? to be honest with you, I think it would have been better for you to go high ground here and let whoever's on point clean up. Why do you think that is?
I just deny the bat feeling.
Exactly. If you just keep them busy, right? Split their attention. Think about what my hero is best at, what their heroes are best at. Obviously, it doesn't make much sense for your Reaper to set up the time to TP to high ground when you can just shoot the Orisa and D.Va on point. I think that's a lot of value. Your Moira obviously can't get up there. The Lucio D.Va's gonna be harder. So like, but you can be split here. You can go, I'm gonna jump this BAP. I'm gonna keep this BAP busy. I might even just sit up here and zap the Brig. So I think you being split of your team's target, as long as it's at the same time as your team is doing something, is okay. That being said, this isn't really bad. This is fine. This bubble will be useful for your team. I appreciate the short jump there. That's good. Getting a little bit of landing damage in there. So this is all fine. So like, all of my nitpicks with you so far have been almost exclusively of what your team is doing and not what you're doing. Now, what are your goals with Overwatch? Like, what's if we were to say 6 months from now, 1 year from now, what's the purpose? Is this for fun? Is this to get better? Is this to rank up? Is this for contenders, open division? Like, what's the deal?
It's really just like filling a void, because in like high school I was on 2 sports teams, so I've just been super competitive all the time. And after I graduated, I didn't have a team, so I started playing like competitive Overwatch and screaming.
So you're like me, you just like being competitive about things just for the sake of being competitive. Doesn't really matter what it is.
It's fun to get better at something.
Sure, that's a great goal. So I think that one of the most admirable goals that you can actually set for yourself in Overwatch is to learn how to be a better teammate and to learn how to be a better leader within a team like this. Not only because it's good and your team will benefit them a lot from it, but also because it has incredible application outside of Overwatch. So maybe you're not the gamer type, okay? I can relate with that. And you're like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to be doing this. I might just get back and doing sports or whatever, or do something else. Fine. So walk away from this with something permanent. So this is why I'm going to hang you up on things like having your Sombra cut, things about being decisive on your rotations, things about how you should be second guessing or thinking about all your decisions during these reviews, because those are helpful tools. So, and once we finish this attack, I want to sit and talk with you, not continue to talk with you more about those things, because I really think you'll get a lot out of it. Rather than me telling you all the details of how to min-max your Winston engages, how do you be a better teammate? How do you lead your team to do better things, along with any big stuff that we see from you along the way? Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So, staying on that topic, sort of, what's the game plan?
If they were holding like point or close, we wanted to take top right and then go high ground from there.
So you're saying literally just go boing and then...
Yep, and if they were playing like far back left high ground, we rotate on the left side.
Okay, and then what would you do here?
Just walk on their back line from there.
From here? Just here? Okay. I mean, this is really good. I want you to understand, like, this is really good. Like, now, Kai, I have a question for you. How do you know these things?
A lot of scrims and a lot of VOD reviews.
Okay.
From
this is good.
Org coaches and from content coaches.
I respect it. Okay, so it seems like you have a pretty good understanding of like how to play this engagement. You need to get on top of them while taking as little damage as possible. So that's just really good. So you look at the situation here now, and you're gonna tell me what you should be calling right now. Like, you know what? We're not gonna even cheat. We're gonna go from your POV. You have heard Hanzo. Okay, what's the game plan?
Go top left now, since I've seen him high ground.
Okay. Okay. A little clunky here. I'm gonna look at this again. I'm suspicious of your calls now.
This will heal you.
That looks okay. It looks okay. They were a little slow, so I was wondering if you were a little indecisive with your call, but it looks okay. Okay. Keep watching. Now. Coach Neldon. Is that Coach Ty? What do you prefer, by the way?
It doesn't matter. Ty's my first name.
All right, Ty. All right, Coach Ty. What the flip is wrong? Or concerning?
Our Sombra's not really where she can engage with us yet.
Right. So I'm scared. You're about to press shift. And you're about to get in the Orisa's teeth. And to be fair, like anything else other than the Orisa right now is a little awkward to dive. That's a good starting point. But I really, really want your Sombra. Like, where could your Sombra be?
On the stairs right under you.
Right. She could be here. Now she has to watch out for whip shot, because if she gets whip shotted, she has to translocate because she's going to go off the map. But she can definitely be like here, like just like literally just even just here. Like you're going to jump 3, 2, 1. Okay, now I'm going to go out and hack that diva. Right? So annoying for them. So annoying. So let's see what happens. You're going to go with Cole as well.
Yep.
Okay, this is good. Yeah, this is tragic. Absolutely tragic. Because your Sombra's going to do air. Your Sombra might pressure point, but that's not very good. Why is that not very good? What's the problem with her?
Sombra can get a lot more value than just...
I agree. But what else is the problem with that? Look at her positioning right now.
Very exposed.
What could that soldier and or Hanzo do?
Shoot at her and force her trans.
Exactly. Either one-shot her or she's out of the fight in 1 second. Now, maybe there's enough distraction here so that doesn't happen. But again, I just want you to imagine Sombra here or Sombra here, right? And just literally just on an angle and just going to be like, who do you focus? The monkey? Do you focus the Sombra? This is too easy for them. That Hanzo soldier can't do much anything right now but clear out Sombra. So, okay. That being said, let's look at strictly your play. You're doing the correct rotation. You're jumping through. You managed to get pretty close in. The bubble is probably a little early.
Yeah, I get stunned, so I just kind of panic bubble.
Right, and I get that, right? I don't think you were aware of their DPS's positioning, so like you get stunned, but their Hanzo and Soldier are like across the map. They don't even see you, so it's a little bit unfortunate. But again, I don't want to nitpick this, right? Like we got bigger fish to fry. So this is all fine. I probably would have kept pressing W here, even without the bubble, just because of Cole, but whatever. Okay, now, this is the real fun part, okay? So you tell me what you think you could do here. What are your options?
I think I stay on the Hanzo point, but I have to make sure my team knows that so they can come with me.
Okay.
Or I could go contest Soldier high ground.
Okay.
Natural solution.
Brilliant. Appreciate the discipline with Primal. Okay, you get up. Okay, so I'm gonna do something. Okay, I'm gonna do something that to be honest with you, I have never ever done in a one-on-one review. And we're gonna look at your Sombra POV.
See you later.
You see it? Exactly what you predicted. Exactly what you predicted. So, this is why I wanted to clarify what you wanted out of this review. Because if you had said to me, oh, I want to be the greatest Winston in the world, I really want to climb the GM, maybe I don't dwell on these things so much, because then it becomes a question of like, it's all about you and not about your teammates. But you are scrimming with these guys. You are looking to be a better leader, to be a better team, to be a better teammate, to be a better shot caller, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So this needs to be a conversation you'd have with your Sombra. Don't share the stream. Don't say, go look at what Spilo said about that. Screw that. That's a cheap, easy way of doing things. You need to sit down with your Sombra or go over it in a team review. And how often do you guys play this composition, by the way?
We play this and Brawl pretty heavily.
Okay.
We'll mix in like a ball comp every once in a while.
So this is definitely a major problem then. And you need to you need to have this discussion. And my question for you is, how would you have this discussion? I want you to go back. I'm going to go all the way back to the starting point. And I want you to tell me, how would you talk with your Sombra? Let's say I'm now the Sombra, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to talk to me. So first off, is there any, actually, I'm not going to ask you what your Sombra is like as a person. I think that's too personal. So why don't you just pretend that I'm the Sombra? How would you have this conversation?
Well, usually we have our Sombra come with us to hack Mega, but I think, especially when they're playing like that, I think we don't need that. We don't need that Mega because we're going to be rotating over anyway. So I think it should be like set up bottom left maybe so that they can meet us with the engage.
Okay. So you just need to dive. Okay. But I'm going to take you a step backwards because you're already talking about like the details of like what you should be doing. Okay. Mm-hmm. How do you bring up this problem to your Sombra player? Or any like problem to any teammate?
Positioning problem?
Yeah. The entire fact that you dove here with your Sombra sitting in your backline.
I think you just kind of have to be honest with them and tell them that they're out of position. I think part of that's on me because I told them, like, I say part, it is on me. I told them.
Do you have that relationship with that player to where you can do that?
Pretty well, yeah.
Okay. Why is that? Is that something you've been working with them? Are you a higher rank, or like what's the deal?
No, we're pretty even. It's just we hang out a lot because we're on the same team, so we're always just. I mean, at least 2 times a week we're playing 2 hours Overwatch with each other.
So you can have this conversation and just be like completely upfront and blunt, and nobody's gonna get the feelings hurt.
There might be feelings hurt for a little bit, but I think we'll everybody get over it.
So, how would you deliver this then with somebody? Then, give me an example.
Oh, I just like in this specific example, I just approached him and say, "Hey, like I think you don't need to come with us here because sometimes I think he does need to play out of this, but this specific rotation that we're planning, he can get a lot more value by setting up on an. Or I should say you, if I'm talking to him, you can get a lot more value setting up on an alpha angle so that you're already there, ready to engage as we're moving in."
Okay. Can you see any problems that he might bring up with that?
Getting scouted.
Okay, so what would be the solution to that?
Play a little more out of the fight, I think, until we start our rotation so that we're pulling attention.
A little tip as well, when you say this kind of stuff, you can always phrase it as a question as well. That does mean that sometimes you're not able to get your point across as direct as you want, but you can be like, could you like play to hide more before we engage? Would that be okay? Would that solve that problem? You kind of see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to go to the next team fight here. Now, I'm sorry, chat. This is not the most like super exciting stuff, but this is really, really important. This is I think will have good positive impact, not necessarily in terms of you winning games or even doing, but just like as a team. I think this is good news. So, how would you phrase this one? How would you bring this one up?
I guess would ask like how they got split because we were all together first. So when I found out how they got split, I guess kind of ask like why they didn't bring that up. Because if they tell me they get split, then we can pump the brakes for just a second.
Okay.
And let them get set up. I didn't know that they went point.
Okay. Okay. So this is so. What's the problem with what they're doing here?
They're just exposing themselves and taking them out of the fight.
Okay. Okay. And what could they be doing instead?
Could be poking from an off angle. Could be getting like a hack on the D.Va, so our Reaper can do a lot more damage.
Yep. I agree with all that. I think your Sombra player needs to understand that you could like going for hacks and going for pincer pressure on dives doesn't mean you're exposing yourself to getting killed. It seems like this one, they're like, oh, I don't want to go backline. I might get like forced out or cleared. And the other one, they're talking about how like, oh, I'm always getting spy checked. Well, then, yeah, why are you standing here? If you're standing here, then yes, I would be scared as a Sombra. But you can stand here, right? Or you can stand here. I mean, all the examples that you gave, heck, even standing here would probably be a little better than where they are. So this is a conversation that you'll need to have. You'll have respectfully. I'm glad you already have that rapport, I guess, with the player. So that makes it a lot easier to have these conversations. But you know, and this doesn't, the thing is like, this doesn't have to be, and this really shouldn't be like coach to player, right? This should be friend to friend. The most successful teams in Overwatch, League contingents, etc., have these sort of relationships with each other where they can be honest and like talk to each other about stuff, like ask questions. So I do think it would be helpful for you to have this conversation. And I think it's also going to be very impactful for you to have, I think it's good practice, essentially, if that makes sense. But yeah, this fight's nice. Okay. Do you have any questions so far?
Excuse me.
Not really.
Okay. I know this is a little bit unusual, but I think it'll be good nonetheless. Okay, shot caller. How do you win next fight?
Get into position.
Because now you got a real dilemma. Because before it was, oh, we can just go in with cold GGs, right? Now it's no longer the case. So what do you do?
We try to set up EMP Blossom. Take their top right high ground away, and then just rotate to point EMP Blossom.
Just on the point?
Yeah, especially if their wrist is on point. If nobody's on point, I think we can, like me and the D.Va can force point, and our Sombra can play underneath.
Won't you just take a lot of damage?
Probably.
Okay. Do you still think it's worth it then?
I think we were kind of betting on their aggression because we've played this team before, so we know they like to go pretty hard into it. So I think we were kind of banking on the fact that they would drop and try to contest.
So are you sure that they're going to drop and try and contest immediately?
Maybe not immediately, but we've already got 2 ticks, so they have to come pretty quick.
There it is. Okay, I was waiting for that answer. Yes, correct. So you're talking about a really unorthodox way of playing, which is like just screw their angles, like they're just going to run to point. But That's going to work a lot more if you, like you said, they're a more aggressive team, but also you already have 2 ticks. They have to respect the point way more. So things like just cheesing on the point is a lot more powerful. Okay, I just want to make sure that your reasoning was accurate. But yes, I 100% agree. I think you're on point here. Literally. Okay. Clearing high ground, that's good. Clear a little bit of the damage pressure. No big cooldowns used, looks like. And let's see what happens.
I've reached the objective. Let's coordinate our efforts.
Like it?
EMP activated.
Okay. So I'm just gonna let it play a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of like let that go. On paper, the idea that you had, you go to point, you've got primal, you've got beat, you can just EMP blossom whatever touches. That seemed fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In terms of the actual execution, is there anything from your end of things that you think you could have cleaned up?
I think here's fine. I think when I chased the soldier deep was a
Okay.
mistake. I think I should have let him go and come back to the point and then
Why?
recontest once he's back, because he's already out of the fight, so there's no need for me to take myself out of the fight with him.
Right. And again, you want to be matching your strategy with what the whole overall team plan is. What's the overall team plan right now?
Force point, EMP, blossom.
Right. So you don't want to be too far from point. You want to be just smash point, smash point. Obviously, doing things like this is fine. Break the bongo, contest the soldier, all that crap. But like you said, this becomes no pursue. This becomes, we need to zone this Orisa. We need to get rid of that brig. All those sort of things. This is absolutely a mistake. Absolutely a mistake. So I'm glad we recognize that. Okay. So far, I haven't seen any major issues in your side of thing, but you have a major issue within inside your team, and there's been some indecision, some sloppiness with your actual plan execution. And I blame you, not just because you are the person getting the reviews, you were the person also shot calling, and you also have a rapport built up with this player that you could correct some of these issues to begin with. Correct?
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
Can we skip this fight?
Yes, but why?
They just kind of run into us with Brawl in that room.
Do you already... Okay, so is it fine if we look at the fight from a third-person perspective and theorize a little bit?
Yeah, if you watch from mine, there's like 3 seconds of being alive, and that's about it. So
Did you get flash fanned?
I got pinned, actually, into a Mei wall, and I think I died before I even hit the Mei wall. Our scouting was just kind of late. We took too long to walk out.
Brilliant. Okay, let's talk about the should have beens then, because obviously this isn't it. So like, look at your composition. What is your because people get this matchup so wrong, so wrong. They don't understand. Oh well, this one has better brawl, and that one has better brawl. It doesn't matter, right? The real important question is, what is Team Blue good at that Team Red can't do, and what is Team Red good at that Team Blue can't do? So you tell me, because you're the shot caller.
Team Blue's got a lot more staying power with the Rhine and the BAP.
No, that's not the answer we're looking for. No, not the answer we're looking for. More staying power. What does that mean?
It means they can take longer fights.
You
they
sure?
have the cooldowns to take longer fights. I think so. I think what we need to do is we need to do like a soft engage first, especially if we can get like lamp out.
Okay.
And then just amp out, reset our cooldowns and our health, and then go back in, and we should have a pretty big advantage.
So you're saying your composition is stronger in quick bursts?
Yes.
Okay. So I would agree with that. Yeah. So I have like this aversive response to generic answers. Okay. So quick bursts. What else is their comp good at and your comp bad at, or vice versa?
Their comp can poke more than ours can.
Okay. So what is your comp good at that they are bad at?
I guess closing distance, maybe.
Not
Setting up off angles.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Look at you. Okay. Exactly. Now, how are you able to set up off angles better than they are?
Sombra stealth. Reaper can kind of TP if he needs to.
What else? Look at your tank line. What does your tank line have that at least one of their tanks doesn't have?
more mobility.
Right. So you're able to utilize high ground, which allows you to what?
To drop on them without having to
Right,
use
exactly.
cooldowns.
And you can, and high ground is an angle. In other words, if I can jump onto the high ground here, I can walk all the way around and come from this angle, or I can drop on them from this angle. Like it allows you to move safely and attack from multiple different angles. So, right. So your composition is better in bursts and with angles. Their composition is better in sustaining power, okay, over longer brawls, we'll just put it that way, and has better ranged poke, okay? So the problem with this here
2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
is what?
We're not setting up any off angles, really.
Right, correct. You're not setting any off angles. Now, I will say this. If you had not been pinned here, and you had, I don't know, a Reaper on an angle, your Sombra, like your Sombra doesn't even do anything, right? So if you had been on an angle here, maybe with your Reaper or something, or your Reaper, excuse me, had been on an angle, your Sombra had been here sooner, you hadn't gotten pinned, this would have been a death trap for them to go into. Because of the number of angles that you could have had, and the fact that it would have been 3, 2, 1, bang. The other thing that you brought up that I think is very important is that really you don't want to hard commit just yet until you've seen Lamp. Because that's the thing, is like you can almost pick and choose your engagements with this composition because you don't have to commit, right? If their McCree commits, he commits, right? Reaper, no. Sombra, no. Winston, no. Diva, no. Even Moira Lucio, no. They can kind of pick and choose. So the other problem with this room is if this engagement doesn't go perfectly for you, is there any disengage, regroup, let's push again?
It'd have to be a really long rotation up those stairs.
Yeah, it's ugly. Like how do you jump out from here? It's rough. Like maybe you walk up the stairs and jump out. Like even your Sombra TP, like you're screwed. Like you guys are absolutely screwed. So I want you to replay this fight for me, knowing they have brawl. I mean, maybe scouting is the problem, but I want you to you have to prove to me that you know this matchup well enough. So how would this look?
I don't really know where to start from against them, to be honest. Because when we scrim this map with this comp, we always start like inside. Usually inside that left mini. Sometimes we'll start inside the right just to mix it up. Okay. And we usually have a lot of success because we meet them before that room, and then we can kind of spread out and take our angles.
Okay. Okay. So you would normally meet them like, are you saying like here?
Yeah, like we usually try to control truck.
Okay.
More than anything. But I don't know. I think we weren't expecting them to just run in and pin in the room kind of thing.
Have they played you guys in this map before?
This map, yeah.
Okay. So this to be honest with you, like if I go to the Rens PV, so this happens in Overwatch League 2 on this actually specific map too, where people will play monkeys, and they're like, oh yeah, I know where they're set up. I know exactly where they're going. Like we've multiple times with London, we'd playing the Briggs Zone composition, we'd like go Kree and be like, oh, there's monkeys here. We're gonna go 3, 2, 1, turn flash fan, and he just insta dies because he's just not expecting us to know where he is. So it's like this might just be a situation where like they were ready, they were prepared ahead of time, and they just rolled you over. Let's say though, just for the sake of argument, you were not going to fight here, but you're going to fight. You messed up. Maybe you forced Lamp, whatever, but you didn't get the kills. You guys all jump out. Where would you next take the fight? How would you set up your next engage?
Try to take control of either the roof of the mini room on point or the high ground that's like right behind you.
Okay. And then what would you do with these high grounds?
Just surround on point. Like we'll have our Sombra go opposite high ground if they go straight to point.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can just drop from a couple different angles.
Sure. And at that point in time, it might have to be a hard engage. Like you might have to commit to the BAP. You might have to go in. Hopefully you've built up enough or force the Lamp or whatever. And yeah, exactly. So you take this high ground, you take those angles, and you try and commit. Okay. Give me a second. I'm going to lower my magical desk. Chat, I'm about to get a lot shorter. Here we go. Hopefully I don't like unplug my Ethernet cable. Almost done. By the way, does all this make sense so far, this matchup stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, let's roll. Uh-oh. Okay.
Once more.
You got Lamp out, that's nice. Or window out, that's helpful. Not a really scary ultimate versus for your comp, but something is something. Okay, now this is where we get giggly, right? How do you guys play this?
Wanted to play slow for EMP. Let our Sombra poke from an off angle.
Okay. Once you have EMP, like let's just ignore the EMP for now, for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
How does this matchup play out on this particular point?
I think we don't want to engage too early. I think we need to let them kind of commit to coming in, and that
Why?
way because we can use our high grounds, and just there's a lot more off angle potential, I think, when they start to commit to point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot harder for them to back out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You could just sustain, use the high ground angles. Eventually your Reaper is going to hit his shot, your Summer's going to get a hack, you're going to build cold, you're going to get primal, and they're going to die. So the key thing is that you need to take the fight here, because this is where all the high grounds and all the angles are. This is what their Kree doesn't want to, like the Kree can't handle. Kree can't, what's Kree going to do here? He's going to sit here or here, and he's going to have to go all the way like back here, and he's going to have a really, really hard time, right?
Yep.
And sometimes you don't even have to focus their squishy. Sometimes their Ryan walks in, your Summer's sitting here, de-stealths, gets the hack, and now that Ryan's a dive target, right? So it's all sorts of fun. So let's see what happens. Now, I'm not sure what you're doing, though. Are you trying to feed Cole here? Because I see a lot of ugly face, like, peeking out here.
Just kind of scouting.
Okay. Your D.Va as well. Because basically what's happening here is I've got you and your D.Va both scouting, and you're getting chunked. Oof. D.Va, oof. There's a heal orb. Oof, oof. Now the time they commit? What is this? This is a disaster. Do you see this? What do you see?
Our D.Va's super split, and our Sombra's not in the fight.
Worse than that.
And we don't really have an off angle set up.
You have no off angles. Well, you do have some off angles, but why is your D.Va on the floor? Why are you on the floor? You told me you were going to try and utilize high ground as your off angles, right? As your safety ground, right? You sat on the floor.
Yeah, I didn't say that's what we were gonna do. I said it's what we should have done.
Right. But that's still the problem, though. Like that's still a priority. Because now, and like, look what happened to your Moira too. Like, your Moira dropped to heal you, and your D.Va, who, by the way, has almost no matrix before the fight even started, and is half HP. And you're still not full HP. And let's look at your. Do you want to guess as to what your Moira resource is at right now?
Pretty low.
Yeah, I would
like
guess.
A quarter bar.
Oh, she's brilliant. She used her heal orb. Never mind. Remember, she used her heal orb, so never mind.
Yep.
But yeah, she still had to use a heal orb to keep you up so that she wouldn't be lower on resource. So this is a disaster. You might even die here. So you're describing a composition strengths, but then you're playing not at all to those strengths at all. Like, honestly, the ironic thing here is, who is the person right now who's probably doing their job the best?
I'd say probably the Sombra.
Probably the Sombra. I agree. Look at the cover that she's using and the range that she's playing. This is really good. This is going to allow her to stay here a long time. She's got cover. She can set up items. The irony is that we're ripping on your Sombra, and now your Sombra is like the only person on the field that's actually doing her job. Whack. So, instead of harping on you and ripping on you, what did you and your tank line need to do better here? What adjustments needed to be made?
Well, we should have stayed high, I think.
Yes, just sit here. Here. Make them do the stupid amp speed, wall over, use all their cooldowns, and play for another gamble again. That's extremely risky for them to try that. And then just zap them from here. You wouldn't even need to drop. Just zap them. You get, like, wait for the full tick and then drop, and then maybe your D.Va can touch instead. You wouldn't have bubbled. You wouldn't have been shattered. Your D.Va would have taken no damage. You would have taken much less damage, and you would have actually played for the win condition that you told me that you wanted, and your Moira wouldn't drop either, too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think we were just kind of flustered going into this
Exactly.
fight.
Not to mention, also, look at the targets that you end up shooting. That's the other really negative thing here, too. Do you see the target here?
Yeah.
You're on the Rhine. Ugh. You should be like, look at this. Oh, just look at the May and the BAP. You don't even have to use your jump. Like, it's just brilliant. So much value here. But yeah, this is tragic. Okay. Tragedy. It's a great EMP. And you guys are gonna win off of that. Okay. So we stay on that because that's definitely that's definitely a big error on your part in terms of how much damage you were taking, how you were setting up the team fight, but also your team as a whole was playing it wrong. Does that make sense before we harp on it anymore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mate checking in.
By the way, are you writing this down, remembering it, or are you gonna go back and watch it? Because I have the memory of like literally like amnesic goldfish. So like, what's the deal with that?
I usually watch my VODs like 3 or 4 times, to be honest with you.
But at least 6 times would probably be good for this one. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay, so we're trying to follow a similar line here of before we abandon the Winston composition. I think you understood quite well I hate saying that, how you play the composition and how you play the matchup too, and what your role is. The problem was, or your Sombra a lot of times not setting up good angles, and then your brain turned off on second point. So those are some things to work with. Have that conversation, work on your execution as a whole. You understand. You had to explain to me like the play style, all that kind of stuff. So that's all fine. We'll shelve that one away. Cheers. Now what's the deal?
Now it's pretty much mirror. So we're just betting on the fact that we can play into the mirror better than them.
Yeah. So what are you calling right now?
I don't really remember.
Okay. Do you normally help call plans as well, not just like rotations and stuff, like what else you want to use and things like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you win this fight then?
I think the plan was to force out D.Va so that we can a free Death Blossom.
Force out D.Va. Does that just mean everybody shoots D.Va?
Pretty much just brawl faster than normal into the D.Va.
So you're just gonna W key, try and wall off, everybody shoots D.Va a little bit, then look for Blossom mid-fight?
Yep.
Okay. I think that's very important. I think one of the things that Jane said, which is really, really one of the things that he said that I always agreed with, was like, we're going to force Matrix and we're going to do this. Okay, how, right? How are you going to get her to Matrix? And so that's something that I want to see here, is you actually force the Matrix, right? Focus the D.Va. Okay. Tragic. What's the issue here?
We didn't force anything because of High Noon,
Yeah.
and he's like basically alone.
Yeah.
Besides maybe Lucio.
So you got out tempoed. I hate using that word, but you did. Just got out tempoed.
Yep.
You like given, and actually, if we look at how you got out tempoed, you tell me, how did you get out tempoed?
We just gave him way too much space.
Wait a second. Look at where your Reaper's positioned.
Mm-hmm.
Did you give them way too much space?
I think we gave him too much space for what I was wanting to do.
What
and
were
I
you
think
wanting
we
to
didn't-
do?
To just meet them like further up so that they have to use more cooldowns
So
to be
where
able
would
to
your
have that
Reaper
space.
Where would your Reaper need to be then?
Either stacked with me in Mega Room instead of above it.
Okay. See, that's the problem here. So I knew tempo got out tempoed was wrong. I hate that term. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad that was wrong, because the problem is you look like you are ready to do stuff here, right? But your Reaper can't do anything yet. Your Reaper needs him to actually walk in a little bit, kind of how you were describing the Winston composition. I mean, if you look at the rest of your team as well, is your D.Va, your Mei, are they in any position? Do they even look interested in pushing right now?
No, and I remember our like post-fight comms took way too long.
Okay. So whatever, I don't really know. Like you just answered kind of my question there. I don't really know what the communication situation was like to lead up to this point, but whatever it did is a disaster. This is a disaster, because you can absolutely let them in and kite out this High Noon. It's all fine and dandy. They walk into point, they walk into a juicy Death Blossom, they use resources, fine. But this is a problem. Like, this is a big problem. Like, this was a really, really ugly kite. It costs you your entire shield, almost costs your Mei, and it costs your Megwall, and you're going to have to give it to Hick. Yikes, dude. So that needs to be addressed. You need to be on the same page with where the plan is happening. Otherwise, this kind of garbage is going to happen, and then that's just a train wreck. The other problem here is this. And what's the problem with this?
He's alone. We didn't get any of the
Correct.
DM out.
Correct. Now, maybe you force a little bit of DM, etc. But the major problem here is, what the flip is this group of your team doing right now? Absolute jack. Nothing. It's not your fault, but that has to be communicated. This timing has to be done. You kind of see what I'm saying? So this is a problem. This Death Blossom should be absolutely fat, but it might not. Hey, Sherman, thank you for this. 35 months. Almost 3 years. No, this is not the Krusty Krab. Okay. All right. So it works out. You do hard commit with it. but it had a very, very, very high risk. Very, very high risk. Way higher.
I just heard I'm death blossoming now, so I just pinned to get there as fast as
I mean,
I
I
can.
respect it. Like, you're trying to get to do something. Sometimes doing something is better than doing nothing and then doing the right thing late. You kind of see what I'm saying? So, like, I think that pin was the correct play. Absolutely the correct play. I'm just mad that we got to that point. Okay. All right. So, what's the plan? Do you remember?
I remember there wasn't much of one because we don't really have a lot to work with.
Oh, come on.
I'm not good at fight planning with only like 1 or 2 ults that aren't clear win condition.
Okay, so then
ults.
you aren't a very good fight planner. So we need to work at that. So let's work at that right now. What are some ideas you can do with your ultimates or your cooldowns that might work this team fight? By the way, did you ult track?
It's our Lucio that ult tracks.
Right, but
like
do
our
you
main
guys
squad
ult
always
track?
does. Yeah, it's kind of been an issue lately. We've had like one of our supports just left to go play for a different team, so
Okay.
we've had just the biggest shuffle of
Sure,
main
that's
support
fine.
you can imagine.
That's fine. Ult tracking is a tricky thing to be good at as well, so I'm not going to give you a hard time. Okay, so I just want to know if you had any ult tracking. If you're not really sure, not a big deal. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you, what are some plans?
So our initial plan was just to throw Diva Bomb early and force a hard engage with it, but then somebody's like, well, they have Blizzard, so we can't really just throw our bomb out. So then I think I called to just, like about here, I called, well, we just need to meet them pretty hard and get ready to back off then. But by that time, it's way too late.
Sometimes you can feel how a very late plan that people aren't ready to execute on sometimes can be almost worse than not having a plan at all. Why is that?
Because then maybe like me and maybe one other person will start to do the plan. So instead of having 6 people just kind of standing there waiting around, you got 2 people going in and 4 people just standing around.
Right, exactly. It's like, at least with ranked, everybody kind of generally shuffles around the same spot. But if you just decide, I'm going to go in and do this like at the last possible second, then you're going to have what almost happened with your Death Blossom. So think of a good plan then. So like, obviously you need to make sure that the whole late plan, indecisive, last second crap, that just needs to go. You don't need me to coach you to tell you why you're out. Just fix it. That needs to 10, 20, 30% more of your fights need to not have that happen in your future scrums, right? But in terms of like what we can actually think about and analyze and practice, that's the quality of your plan. So you said you could go early with Diva Bomb, but you guys are scared about Blizzard. Okay, fine. Solve the problem then. What do we do? What's the plan?
I think there's like 2 different schools of thought. Either we can engage really fast on their front line while they're coming in,
Okay.
with like Maywall to split the Ryan,
With Diva Bomb or
we
without?
could without,
Okay.
or we could just as a team focus on the May to make her feel either pressured to use Blizzard or just take that angle away from her so she can't use it.
Okay. Now give me a win condition or a fight plan with Bomb.
I think once we either force out Blizzard, we can bomb, or once we take her angle away. So like as soon as she leaves an angle, then we can chuck bomb on maybe like the Rhine and just hard it into the Rhine with the bomb on top of him.
To be clear, you don't have to wait for her to use Blizzard to bomb.
Yeah.
You just have to understand what that means. You kind of see what I'm saying? Like, so how would you win this fight with Bomb, even though they have Blizzard?
I think if we bomb early, I mean, maybe not necessarily a fight and win, but a fight advantage would be we could be up there early, bomb early to bait the Blizzard, and then just disengage off of that.
You could. Heck, you could even bait them onto point. And then bomb, like launch your bomb from like here and have it land like right here. And there's a high chance that you die due to the Blizzard, but there's really nobody else should be frozen because of the Blizzard.
Yeah.
Your McCree should be high ground, Baps high ground, Lucius high ground, Divas high ground, May will just ice block. And then the bomb will very likely either kill people or blow every single cooldown that they have, and then your McCree will get a pick. And then maybe you guys beat to sustain. Like in the situation where like they have Blizzard versus your Diva Bomb and they have like a BAP window, you guys are kind of in a tricky spot, right? Like you said, Diva Bomb is a little awkward, but that's another tool. And the one you described earlier with like faking and engage early and then kiting out, like maybe you guys like wall here, but then you run away with like Lucio speed and your McCree BAP stay high ground. That also would work. It's risky, but my point is that there are ways of working around this, right? There are ways of playing and making this work. So you just need to come up with these. You need to try these. Think of them. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would bet the farm that nothing spectacular or even close to spectacular happens here. Like even that right there. Like think about that. Think about how much HP you just lost there, dancing around like a chicken with its head cut off. And look at your shield HP as well. 600 of your shield gone, and half of your HP for what?
Nothing.
Right. No, why? Now again, I'm not gonna just flame you for doing that. You know that's a mistake, but why did it happen? Why were you
bad fight plans?
Right, exactly.
Slow fight plans.
Right, you're not sure. You're like, we're pushing up? Oh, okay, I guess we're not. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, we're pushing up. Oh no, I guess we're not. Right, exactly. Right. I'm not gonna yell at you for doing this. You know this is wrong. So what put you in this position? And that's what needs to be fixed. Because now they're walking in, but your stupid McCree's on the floor. If you were looking to fight here, your McCree wouldn't be on the floor. He would be on the high ground, right? Yep. McCree's on the floor probably because you called to push up here. That's the problem. And then now your McCree's dead. And now your mate's dead. And now you're dead. And now your BAP's dead. I have no idea what your BAP was doing on the floor, to be honest. But like, you guys have zero plan. Too many people died to Blizzard, and it's over. So, does that make sense?
Yep.
I mean, it was quite easy. It's almost hilarious how you could almost see it falling apart before it even happened. Like, you could see it coming. You could see the problems basically righting themselves. Okay, so we'll look over maybe one more team fight, maybe a little bit more, and then I want to do some questions with you. Do you have any questions so far of what, like, the just previous matchup stuff?
Is there a way I can practice fight planning outside of scrims?
I'm gonna be so mean. You tell me how.
You're just gonna say play comp, aren't you?
No. I'm not. No, I'm not. That would actually be bad. That would not be helpful. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily negative, but no. You tell me. How do you practice it?
Aside from like VOD reviewing myself, I guess, especially when like Overwatch League's on, I could watch those VODs maybe.
VOD reviewing yourself. What do you mean VOD reviewing yourself?
Kind of like we're doing now, and just pausing before each fight and like, well, how should this play out, and walking through it that way.
Do you do that?
Not often. No, I'm on 2 different teams in work, so I don't have a lot of time to VOD.
If you were to work on your shot calling and leading, this would be how you do it. Like what we're doing right here. So how you practice shot, like your fight planning, is doing exactly what we've been doing for the past, like, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. This exactly. And don't even necessarily need to look at your POV at all. What would be a good fight plan here? And force yourself to be creative too. Don't just be, oh, well, they have Blizzard, we don't have Blizzard, so we need to play slow. Hate that crap, man. How do you win the fight? What's a creative way you can win it? Force yourself to think of different ways. With like sometimes, so a little bit of leaks here. With London Spitfire, we trialed or scrimmaged Uprising Academy one time. We didn't scrimmage any contenders teams except for BH occasionally and Uprising Academy. And we scrimmaged Uprising Academy this one time, and we're like, oh no, Uprising Academy, like they're a solid team, but it's contenders, right? It's just not the same level as Overwatch League, even though London, we weren't very good. So it was like, oh shoot, like, you know, how are we gonna make this scrim positive? So what we did, we tried something silly. We tried kind of to see if we could limit the number of ultimates that we used and just try to be more creative with our fight plans. And it was half train wreck, half brilliance. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of messy, but the play, it was cool. It was cool. Now I would have wanted to refine how we did it and things like that. But like the things you can take away from that is that it is a good exercise to think about different ways that you can solve team fights, because that's how you improve yourself as a player. Because a lot of times it's gonna be like, well, we don't have this, but they have this, or I'm not really sure what they have, but we have this, or like, why don't we try this on this map? Like, for example, on that map here, going for things like Diva Bombs are really strong in Full Sky, just based off of the geometry, right? But others, it may be better to play around your Maywall, or to play around your Blizzards and make more plans around that. So if you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just go through a team fight. What should we do? What are some ideas? What actually happened? Okay, well, we should have done that. Okay, next fight. 3 or 4 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
I'm concerned.
Defend objective A.
I feel like this is not going to go well. Okay. How do you play this matchup? Just like neutral. No fight planning here. Just the neutral.
Just look to engage with the Maywall.
Okay. So what's the... Well, how do you win if you're on defense and they're on attack? What are your advantages?
They have to funnel through choke, and we can kind of
So...
apply pressure from slightly different angles.
Okay. What do you see as problematic right now?
Everybody's stacked on top of each other again.
Okay. So what would be the solution then?
I think maybe have our Kree and our Diva pair up and go on an off angle
Where?
to the other side of the truck, or if we could get our Kree high ground somehow.
Maybe. Okay. Are you guys looking to fight here?
Ideally,
Okay. So where would you want your angle to be around?
be around that little square there by the truck.
You could. You could even have your McCree hide in here and pop out and flash with Diva. He might die, but if you guys literally just W key in here, if you guys are looking to hard commit here, you can play around it. You could even have your Diva set up here, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, lots of options. You could have your Mei in here, wall out vertically, and just completely scuff up the rotation. So let's actually see what happens. Okay. Uh-oh. What's the problem?
We weren't ready to go in on the Maywall. It was
Yeah.
calm like after it went up instead of before.
Well, now hang on a second. Can you really can you really like should you can you always communicate a Maywall before it happens?
Not always, but I think when it's like set in choke like that, you kind of can.
Now you told me that you were looking to commit to in this little square.
Mhm.
So are you really waiting for Maywall, or are you waiting for the enemy Rhine to do something?
I was kind of both. I was waiting on the Rhine to walk in, but I wanted to wall
When is your Mei going to wall?
differently when
When?
the Rhine walks in.
Okay, so why are you waiting for the third step when the first step's all you need?
I don't know.
Okay, something to think about, because this is not, I've never heard in my life somebody who's like a communicational cycle where we're waiting for the Mei wall call. You wait for them to walk through the choke, and you know that your Mei's going to wall it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's at this point, it's too late to commit now. It's like it's over. Like they've made the rotation. GG's, you've lost. So I'm also again questioning why your Diva's taking so much damage. But like the big problem here is, wait a second, why is this?
Defend
It's 15. Whoops.
objective
My big question here is, why are we S-keying when you told me that you wanted to commit here? Because you're clearly not committing here. You're backing off. And by the time you've committed, it's already too late. This Mei wall is fine. And I knew, like, this Mei wall is fine. It's awful for their BAP. Their McCree is late. It cuts off any retreat route. If you guys had actually committed here, without your Diva being at 0 HP, they would have been toast.
Objective A.
Even without a proper off angle from your McCree. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I was just too worried about me committing too hard because their Mei has been doing a really good job of just walling me off too and committing to me.
Right, but what the flip does their Mei wall do?
Oh, that was a bad wall. Yeah.
It's I mean, there isn't a good wall really here. Like that you can't escape from it. And even if you can, it doesn't matter. Their wall's not going to split anybody of your team off if your Kree is positioned properly. Your BAP's just going to jump over it, and that's going to be it. Meanwhile, this Mei wall's cut them completely off. So get in here, swing on 6, let your McCree take the angle or whatever, and trust your Mei. Your Mei did a good job. That was a good wall. So I mean, there you go. Even with this scuffed up, terrible execution, you guys are still finding ways to win. I have no idea what your McCree is doing. Let me look at your McCree side of it. Your McCree really should not be standing here. This is just so dangerous with Maywall. I mean, exactly. He dies because their McCree is actually doing his job, and your McCree is not. So, yeah. I mean, I won't harp on it a lot because it's not really so much your responsibility, but if you were to have a conversation, I would keep an eye on your McCree's angles. Keep an eye on them. But yeah, to be honest, I don't really care about what happens the rest of this fight. This is all chaos. Everybody's calling different stuff. You know, there's like a million little details that could be going wrong. Screw it. You messed up the first engage. Nothing else matters. Do you agree?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, their McCree is just like getting away with murder. Okay. I don't even know if you'll get an actual fight. You might. You really ought to just kite back to point here.
Routing
I don't even know if I would hold this here because you're still down your Mei. Yeah, so I don't know. Go ahead.
I was looking to hold it with window, so he could window like right on our side of the corner, so I could flame strike and walk through for the amp healing. And I called for him to do that, walked forward thinking it was going to happen, and then he didn't do it.
So it was
He said
in other
no
words,
because we didn't have our Kree.
okay. So in other words, you wanted to go 3, 2, 1, window me now, right? And just window like here or window like here ish, and then you hold the corner.
A little sooner than this point, but
Okay.
yeah, like as they're rounding corner.
You're gonna die to a Kree flank again, aren't you?
Yeah, like 3 of us, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are screwed. Yeah, again, I'm not gonna over, like, jeez, yeah. Guys, angles are strong. Please. This is what happens. Like, your diva really needs to be sitting on that. But, like, if their McCree's really, really smart, like, he doesn't even need to be this far for him to get value. Like, he could be, like, you know, he could be, like, playing here and then peek out here, and then your diva ends and he rolls back to his BAP and he's fine. So, like, you know, obviously this is something you'd want to, like, your diva needs to be sitting on these, but your McCree is also just not playing very well. Main thing for you, though, is that first fight. If this is just a miscommunication, you were down a couple, you never really stabilized, whatever. But the main thing was that first fight. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
60 seconds.
You down to watch one more?
New
Team
Yeah,
fight?
this is fun. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. All right. Chad, what was the fight plan here?
Stuff him at choke and utilize our Maywall so they don't get to.
Okay, sure. I'm fine with that. Let's see what happens.
I instantly take almost all my armor and have to back
Yeah.
up.
They take all your armor, but this is also an atrocious Maywall. Well, let's put it this way. Part of me is like, no, you shouldn't Maywall like this because you need to let them walk through the choke so you get the better Maywall. But actually, you know what the main problem with this Maywall is? What's the main problem?
We're not there to follow it up.
Exactly. Once again, like the first fight earlier, you have now S-keyed out of the Maywall value. Unless you're like playing like poke versus poke and you're just gonna Maywall to split off the resources and like break their shields faster, which that has a like space. This doesn't make any sense. Hey, thank you for the sub, H-Light. Appreciate it. But yeah, this is a major problem because when should this Maywall happen? Even if it was just as bad as that Maywall, when should it happen?
Because I'm going in.
Right now, right?
Yeah.
Essentially now. Like you could go in right now, pin this reinforcer lamp instantly. Like it would be ugly. You guys might get really split, but like this is what you want to do, right? You're peeking out here as if I'm going to like go in, and then you end up backing off. And I actually think it's once again your fault because what I assume you wanted them to do is to let them into the choke, correct? You said stuff.
Kind of like where they are now, basically.
You would where would you want the wall? Let's put it that way. Where would you want to engage?
Just inside of the choke.
Okay, so here or here? Here, like through this choke or through like back in here?
Like inside of the choke point, like horizontally across it.
Like
so it
right
cuts it off.
here, right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So then this is your fault because you were looking. I mean, it looked like to me like you were gonna go right through the choke. And then you tell me what you think. Like I'm it looks like to me like you were like ready to just go through. You weren't holding the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So you see how that confuses your Mei?
Yep.
And so now you have a Mei wall that nobody can follow up off, and a Mei that's playing at a faster tempo because she thinks we're going in, and you're backing off. And your Mei wall does nothing. And then this happens. And GG's. So we can break down every single thing, not every single thing, but most things to just nobody knew what was going on. You may thought you were going through S to choke. You clearly were not. You chunked a bunch of armor. You kite off. You get a bad Mei wall. Nothing happens. You die. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what's the solution then?
I guess first of all, just playing with the Mei more outside of just scrims, getting more in sync with them.
Sure, that would help. But I mean, you know, quantity is not always going to equal quality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the solution? Because I could put a GM Reinhardt or a top 500 Reinhardt or a Reinhardt more experienced with you in scrimmages, and they would not have the same problem with this Mei. Why do you think that is? What are they better at than you?
Being more clear in the comms.
Mm-hmm.
instead of just saying stuff choke.
Being
Say it
more
like
clear,
that.
like, okay, so give me an example of what you should have called instead then.
To let the Ryan walk in and then wall
Yes,
horizontal.
just
and then choke.
let them in. Wall choke. Let them in. Wall choke. That's literally it. And you could have even not said a word and sat here, and your body language alone would have told your mate what to do. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't even need to be right in all the 7 million trillion different things. You could just do one little thing better, and then it's going to make the communication so much clearer. And this keeps happening. This keeps happening with the Ryan May competition. It happened on your defense the first time. It's happened on your defense the second time. So there's a common denominator here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what stands out to you? What stands out to you from this review? What are your priorities? I want you to think back to the Winston. I want you to think back to the matchup stuff. Think back to your planning. Think back to the Ryan May stuff. Like, if you could highlight, without having to watch the review over again, just right now, what's your gut instinct feeling like you have in terms of goals or focuses?
I think just setting up the win conditions for the comp more, instead of just saying like, well, this is the rotation we want to do. We're going to go 3-2-1. It should be, we're going to take this rotation, and our flanker, like Sombra, should be able to set up on an off angle and engage with us at the same time. Kind of.
Okay. Right. I think being more clear with what you're wanting to do. So you're describing a little bit of micromanaging. So you're telling like, oh, I want to do like this with my Sombra. Like, just say, this is where I want to fight. This is what I want us to do. Like, if you said, I'm going to hold the choke, you don't even need to tell your May how to wall it. She knows. She'll know, right? You kind of see what I'm saying? The Sombra thing needs to be a separate conversation. But I think you just being more clear, like what we're doing, when we're doing it, where, whatever, I think you will find a lot of value out from that. And being that specific is just important in life. You just need to be very clear and specific about what you need and what you're planning to accomplish. And this becomes significantly easier. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Not really. I think we've kind of went over them as they came up.
So do you have any questions outside of this review? Anything that you've run into in ranked, or anything else that you would want to go over?
Not really.
Okay. Because we went over a lot and not a lot at the same time. A lot of big picture stuff and not a lot of hero specific stuff. To be honest with you, I think the biggest thing for you is going to be, like we talked about, the planning thing, but also I would strongly like take the time to talk with Sombra about some of the off angling stuff. See if you make some progress with that. Focus on how you're saying things. Don't be like you're doing this wrong, but be like, do you think that this could be better? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Don't insult their intelligence like that. Everybody makes mistakes. Like I said, I think something that you might help for you in terms of like the planning quality, how do you get better, is just doing what we're doing now, right? Talking about like what you could have done, because this could have even been like hold choke guys, flash the first thing that walks through. You kind of see what I'm saying? And that would have worked just fine. Okay. Well, Ty, it was really good working with you, mate. If you do have any other questions, you're tier 2, so you can shoot any other questions my way over DMs, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can.
All right.
But yeah, man, it was awesome talking with you. All right, have a good one, mate.
You too.
See ya. Okay, so that was Ty, Diamond main tank, scrim leader, Alpha Chad. Hope you guys found that helpful. Definitely a little bit different. Not at all where I was expecting it to go. Usually we go into a little bit more details of the individual play, but it definitely felt like big picture stuff of how he was leading and functioning within the team could be improved upon. Especially when you're talking about things like he's saying like, oh, I'm sports and this and that, and just doing something to get my competitive like exertion out. I can relate with that. Thank you first off for the 2 gifted subs. Thank you so much. The 100 bits as well. Medical Mist 4, thank you so much for the sub 2. Appreciate you guys. That's really, really kind of you. Sorry, I'm generally trying to focus on the review when I'm reviewing. But yeah, interesting perspective, because the thing is like if you are focusing on like just getting your competitive energy out, kind of expanding that and picking up tool sets or working on tool sets that aren't Overwatch specific, like learning how to land with Monkey is good. Like learning how to talk with your individual players, learning how to be consistent with your game plan, learning how to efficiently review or learn things better. I think those are helpful. Padawi, thank you so much for the sub, mate. How's the land down under? It is it's late for you, isn't it? Isn't it like 1 a.m.? Isn't it like 1 a.m.? I appreciate it. 2 a.m.? Jeez, man. 4? Jeez, man. Wait a second. Are you a Kiwi? There's no way it's... Or are you Sydney? You have to be like... That's too far. Oh my gosh, Celestial. Thank you so much. Congratulations to Cape Hollow, Zinsei, Zanin, Arietta, and Likeable Leone. Brisbane. Okay, that explains. I was so confused. You don't have daylight savings. Oh, okay. I was like, how? There's no way Australia is that far east. It's going very well, Fountain. Thank you. Another gifted sub. Congratulations, I say, to Botoxification. Locky, hey Spilo, spill the juice. When are we getting low res Spilo body pillows merch? Low res? Why did you even have to specify low res? Is my face that ugly? Okay, I mean right now, obviously. But screw you, man. Screw you. Hope you're doing well though. Anima, congratulations on the gifted sub. Celestial with another gifted sub. Thank you so much. Fan from Puerto Rico. Hello.
Hey Spillo.
Thank you so much for saying hello.
When are we getting Lori's Spillo body pillows?
Oh no, the delayed text-to-speech.
Sold out within the hour.
And another gifted sub to J. John Evo. You want to hear some good news? I hit GM this season and immediately lost like 300 SR. I mean, that happens. It happens. I like, you have to, I understand exactly where you're coming from. I had a 500 SR drop before. A 500 SR drop. I was a Masters player that dropped into technically 1 game away from Plat. I was 1 game away from Plat. Yeah, sub streams are awesome. Appreciate you guys. All right, listen. I don't have kids. I'm not in that desperate need of cash. Congratulations, AERTTV. Thank you so much for the gifted sub as well. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have any quick questions? Because we're gonna be head along to our next review in just a moment. Otherwise. Ready in a few minutes? Question. People that say question mark, like verbally, deserve to just be absolutely humiliated. Sneaky Turtle. Sneaky Turtle. Yee! Thank you for the sub. Good to see you as well. Gamer Talk. Hey, mate.
Spillo is back hype. Love you, man. You inspired me to start coaching.
Oh no, my bad.
Keep it up.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate the subs. Yeah, if you're coaching right now, man, I don't know what you're smoking. Dead game, bro. At least for another 6 months. Went from 38.25 to 36.21. Ouch. Pepper has a child. The man child is Spilo. Yeah, screw you, man. That's like such low tier. Like that's so low effort. Like it doesn't even. I don't even know why I'm giving you the benefit of the response. Shame on you. Ender YouTube. Thank you for the or congratulations on the gifted sub. Another gifted sub. That's 10 now. Coach life is rough. It is. I distinctly remember, so Fisher with London Spitfire met. He used to be a player, and I remember he had this moment. He told me, he's like, man, I thought coaches had it so easy during official matches, but now I honestly wish I was a player. It is honestly worse as a coach than it is for a player in a match, and that is so true. It is awful. I mean, I guess it depends on the esport / sport. Maybe some are not as stressful, but okay, Triple-Oski's in a comp game, so we got 5 minutes anyway. Yeah. What do they do mid-match? Weep, cry, try and pick up in any detail. So in Overwatch League, you're not even spectating third person. You're only spectating the first person of the players on your team. I mean, that makes sense, right? But the problem with that is you sometimes have no idea like what's actually going on. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal, stressful. That's why you have to like train smart players, because like just trying to teach them hard strategies, and this is what you guys just follow what I say, guys. Like in the match, like it just doesn't matter, man. Just doesn't matter. The reason it's miserable is because you always feel like you could do better in backseat driving, except you know you can't because you're not 4.6K. You just watch as they do whatever. Yeah, to an extent, yeah. What do I need to do for a review? So I don't even know. Does exclamation mark coaching even work? So like my Twitch commands are old as me, so they're old. Yeah, that works. So basically, this is a request form. So it's not a guarantee that you actually get coaching, but it's a request form. You fill that crap out, and there's a chance I review. So the way my schedule is right now, I can't stream regularly, even during the off season. I can stream every so often and do reviews, but I can't stream regularly. So what you do is you check it out, you fill out all the information, and then I might get back to you. I might message you and see if we can work out a good time for me to stream that also works for you. If you're a tier 1 coachee, you don't have to be there. But for tier 2, if you want the invoice option, obviously you have to be there. And then I'll reach out to you, be like, hey, I'm doing a stream next week. I'm looking for an Ana VOD. And that's why I have like your rank and how much you've played, because I get a pretty decent amount of coaching submission requests, but I want to coach people that really are putting in the time to get better, because I want the people who really want to get better to be rewarded. It's like I'm limiting demand by like setting the bar kind of high and hoping that the players that jump through it are the ones that really, really, really want to get better. Because I don't want to waste time coaching people that don't want to get better. It's not fair to the people that really want to get better, because I have limited coaching sessions. So if you gift him 50 subs, he'll consider you more. Shut up, Lucky. Shut up, Lucky. Listen, if you give me 50 subs, I have to be very careful here. I'm not going to say a thing. A Chad? No. Tell us a joke. Your social life. That would be a joke. If I don't have one, I can actually tell you a joke. I can tell you a joke. I don't know if I've told this joke on stream. All right. You're welcome. All right. So here's the deal. Find a new insult. All right. Find a new insult. You have to give me something to start with, Lockie. Give me an adjective or a noun, and we'll think of something. You have to give me somewhere to work with. And I'll see if I can come up with something somewhat original. I can't guarantee it'll be very good, but it might be something. You're sad. You haven't been able to actually play in weeks first you injured a finger. That's fine. I sprained my wrist, mate. It sucks. A finger injury is worse than a wrist injury for playing Overwatch, because you can like brace this sucker up, you know. Spylo is an insult. No. See, no. No, I'm insulting you. Spylo's love life is no. Spylo's gameplay is, yeah, see, these are all like, you're not giving me more inspiration. You're just inspiring me to say and do less. You're a negative inspiration. You bottle up any creative energy that I possibly could find. You're vacuuming like all passion out of me. Well, there's your insult. Kind of. Choo-choo? Yeah, all right, level 4, okay. You know, if you guys really love me, it would have been level 5. I would have had $6,000 in donations. Lockie's Charm. Lockie's Charm. Lockie's Charm is like a bottomless pit. It keeps sinking and sinking and sinking, and just when you think it's hit rock bottom, it just keeps going. Does Spylo even game? I actually don't play that much Overwatch anymore. I'm probably diamond level in a couple, but yeah. Little weak, but checks out, yeah. Yeah. The problem is I literally have done so many insults, it's just like, I don't know. I'm also out of practice. All right, here's your joke, and then then I think Tripolski's ready. Okay, Wash Nerd. Okay, can I redeem your points, please? No, you cannot. Sorry. All right, so once upon a time, there was a grandma. And this grandma was really, really lonely, and she wanted a friend. So what'd she do? She got a pet. Thank you so much, Happy Durham, for the sub. You're a piece of trash, by the way. So she got a parrot. She adopted a parrot, and they were giving the parrot away. They weren't even selling it at the pet store. That's kind of weird. But she's too stupid to question that, so she took the parrot home. She put it in the cage. She opened up the cage, started to feed it, and the parrot started cursing her out. Called her a fat rat, a moron, an old decrepit old wench. Really disrespectful language, and a lot of worse things I can't repeat on Twitch. So, she put the blanket over it. Shut up, parrot, she says. She's a really nice old lady, but she'd had enough. But this went on for weeks, guys. For weeks. On and on and on. More insults, more swearing, cursing, inappropriate language constantly. And she was an uptight old lady. She didn't appreciate that. Finally, she snapped like a rubber band. And she says, you know what, parrot? You better watch your mouth. Don't you dare say one more disrespectful thing, or you're going to do something. I'm going to do something that I'm really going to regret and make you regret it as well. And finally, he said some of the ugliest stuff, just one more spat in her face. And she takes that parrot and she throws him in the freezer and slams the door. Bang! Well, that's not very nice. That's animal abuse. But she lost it. That lasted about 5 seconds. She feels bad immediately. Opens up the door, gets the parrot out there. The parrot's shivering a little bit, puts it back in the cage. Says, I'm sorry, stupid old parrot. I feel terrible about this. I couldn't take it any longer. You're driving me nuts. Can you please show more respect? And the parrot says, yes, I'm really sorry. I sincerely apologize for all that I've done. Any ugly or nasty thing, I didn't mean it. It's been a tough life being a parrot, you know? Always talking, always pooping in a cage. Like, it's just unsanitary and depressing. I don't get to fly outside. My stupid wings are trimmed. But I just have a question. I don't quite understand. I know what I did. I was mean and ugly. But in the what did the turkey do? Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm good.
How should I call you? Should I call you Tripolowski6969? Or should I call you something else?
You want to just call me Trip?
Trip. Okay. That's brilliant. That works well. That's great. Okay. So, Trip. Do you want to kind of introduce yourself? Rank, SR, things you like, favorite food, least favorite burrito flavor, all that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, Tripolowski. Currently, Plat 2600 SR.
Okay.
Been mining Tracer for a couple months now.
Okay.
Just trying to figure out how to get better, you know.
Okay. Let me fill out this thing here. So Plat. And what are you looking to get out of this review? Just you said you're looking to get better, but what do you think you need to get better?
I'm thinking, like, one thing I noticed is I struggle with timing, really.
Ooh, okay. Now, the fact that you even brought that up means that you've done a little bit of your research, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so explain timing and what's that whole concept mean to you?
It'd be like going in at the right times. Like, as soon as my team goes in, I go in.
Okay.
Like, behind them.
Oh, man, you must have watched some VODs. Okay, why is that important?
Because if I go in too early, the whole enemy team's going to focus me.
Okay, and has that been something you've been actively working on?
Yeah.
Okay, so you sound indecisive there. What does that mean? Does that mean that you've not improved at it as much as you'd like, or you're struggling to work on it, or like what's the deal?
Kind of just struggling with it a bit.
Okay, so explain that a little bit for me.
Just, you know, sometimes I just don't think about it. I go in a little too early or too late.
Okay.
But mostly late.
Okay. Now, why do you think that is? You didn't realize you're going into a psychiatrist's couch, did you?
Yep.
But really, though, let me know.
I think I just take a little while, you know, to get set up.
Okay. Okay. So I think that's actually a pretty sharp observation. Might take a little too long to set up, and then that is a common problem for tracers. Like they've watched the Spylo video, they know exactly what they're supposed to do, but then they're like, man, by the time I get on the backline or on the flank or on the angle, the fight's already lost. Like, what the heck, right?
Yeah.
So this might especially be a problem in Koth. Why?
What was that?
It might be especially a problem in King of the Hill, these type of maps, right? Why is that?
Because I think I'd end up staggering myself.
But why are you more likely to be late in a map mode like this? Like, if you're looking to set up the perfect angle, do you have like 60 seconds to set up before the fight starts?
Awake in time to
No.
Poggers.
Thank you for the sub, Lightwaves. No, you don't. The fight's starting like now, right? People are rolling out. Everybody's like put on their Nikes and they're rolling out, right? Excuse me, I work for a London Spitfire. They're Puma shoes, and they're running out. So if you don't have time to get to the back line, like, is that what you're trying to do? So you're always trying to go, like, if I were to say, like, this is the enemy team right now, hey, where would you like to be shooting the enemy team? If, like, let's say we're fighting here.
Right there?
Okay, yeah, sure, right here. Where would you be?
I'd be like I think behind them.
Okay, so yeah, behind them with Tracer's always good. Why is that?
So I could focus supports right there.
Sure, it's the squishies, right? Not always good, but most of the time it's good, right? Now, you aren't going to have time to get there in the King of the Hill. Not always. And that might happen in other times too, where you just aren't able to set up all the way. So if you can't set up the perfect backline pressure, what would also work? Like, let's just look at this from a holistic standpoint, okay? So I assume you cannot see my mouse. Can you see my mouse? Yes, no?
No.
Tragic. Okay. So you would want to be here, optimally, shooting back here. But like, let's say you can't sit up there. What would be an okay secondary option?
You see to the right where Reinhardt is?
Yeah.
I'm thinking right there.
So like this over here?
Yeah.
From this angle? Yeah, sure. Exactly. Anywhere where there's cover or you have a little bit of an angle, even if it's not all the way in the back line, it's still good, right? And the reason it's good is because if you can split their attention over here, thank you for the bits, Lightwaves, then that's good. You're splitting their attention and you're not stuck shooting Reinhardt's shield. You kind of see what I'm saying? Now, I'm about to blow your mind. This is gonna we're gonna take this to the next level, okay? So get ready. So I want you.
Nah, BB.
Oh my gosh, these bit donations. Okay. If let's say they were to all roll out here, right? Ryan, Lucio, Ana, what might that soldier do? What is something that soldier might try and do?
Thinking he'd go high ground?
Maybe, yeah, he might go high ground. Exactly. Brilliant. So you don't have time to go all the way behind and shoot Ana, yeah? Maybe.
Yeah.
But what do you have time for?
Then meet the soldier at middle.
Meet the soldier at middle. So what ends up happening is, like you were describing that Reinhardt angle, you might run into people here. And what's the nice thing about Tracer in 1v1s? Usually.
Really good at dueling.
Yeah, she wins. She wins most of the time. Even if she doesn't win, she rarely dies. So you can just be annoying, keep that soldier tied up, maybe force him to run away off of high ground. And even if you don't kill him, if you make the soldier run away off of high ground, is that good for your team?
Yeah.
Brilliant, right? So what Tracer is you are somebody that can go around if you have the time and get the backline and shoot people. But even if you don't have time or can't get the backline because somebody else is there, you can tie them up. You can keep them busy. You're the guy that you're throwing streamers and throwing like rocks at them and just being a general nuisance so that the more dangerous soldier at this range, he can't stay here.
Never give up.
Or he has to get help here. Because the thing is maybe the soldier stays on high ground and you can't bully him off, right? But for him to do that, what would that Ana have to do to help him?
You have to focus on him and
exactly.
She won't have time to heal the rest of the team.
Exactly. Maybe even the Lucio comes up there, like, right. So you're gonna pull more than one person's worth of resources, and so that's a great trait for you. If that Ana's hard pocketing the soldier and you don't kill him, okay. As long as it's done at the right time, you're okay with that. Okay. Thank you guys for the bits. You're killing me. All right. So does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So knowing that, is your rollout here okay so far?
Right there?
Yeah.
Nah. Whole team's right there.
Okay. Do you expect the whole team to be there? For Team Red to usually be there? Do teams usually roll out here?
No, not. I don't usually see teams roll out here.
Okay.
Usually go on point.
Okay, right. So this is one of the few like rank specific things that you'll hear me say is like usually lower rank different ranks will roll out in different locations, so it kind of makes your job a little tricky. As you get to higher ranks, more teams will roll out on this side. It's a little bit more common. So it might become to a situation where this is something that you do all the time because most teams go to point, but eventually you're probably going to get to a point to where you might just have to start rolling out on this side, or maybe you roll out here but you're not committing here. You're like, okay, are they here, are they not? But does that make sense?
Yeah,
that's just more map specific, not super important. Now okay, so let me just see here. So yeah, exactly. So you see Ryan Shield, you're like, okay, this is wrong. Right? You're like, yeah. I don't want to be here. Now the way these fights will work out, this gets messy, so let's hopefully find out if you can get doing something. Okay, are we liking what's happening right now?
Yeah.
Okay, where are you on backline? Are you on an angle? Are you shooting something other than Reinhardt? Okay.
No,
Well, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just focusing Anna right there, just by herself.
Sure. Totally fine. Is there actual combat going on in the battlefield right now?
No.
You sure?
Well, they're up there and my team's down there.
Yeah. A little bit. But do you see what was happening while you were clipping on it? Let me go back just a little bit. Sorry, this is too long. It's always 15. Okay. Is stuff happening right now? Kind of?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. And sometimes that's good enough. Like, let's not say that you're not allowed to do anything unless your team is actually engaging them. Use your sense. Does this look like a sensible engage to you?
For us?
For you, yeah. Is this okay?
Yeah.
Is there stuff like actually happening, or is this Anna isolated?
Anna's isolated right there.
Yep, exactly. So you're okay. You're okay. Like the Anna's dead. Good work. And look at what was happening at the same time. You see? You Winston's in. That soldier's not getting any healing. Why? Because who's harassing her?
Me.
You. Yeah.
The objective is
I think it just got hosted, but I don't know what it got hosted. Hang on, give me a second. Oh gosh. I still don't know who hosted
Does
me.
this even work?
What was that a donation? This is the most scuffed review ever, Step. Or Trip. I just called you Step. Wait. Oh, $10 donation. Thank you so much. Most wood tier streamer. Okay, so thank you so much for the dono. Yeah, so is this all making sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, you just really need to be on an angle, doing something at the same time as your team is doing. Okay, so let's just see what happens. There's really not a whole lot to review here. You did a great job. You were on a good position. Not initially, but you started to set up a good position. You're like, oh shoot, that's a Reinhardt. You wrap around, you hustled, you found a target, you pressured the target, you killed the target, you move on. Great job.
This first run, I think I did all right. It's just the rounds after that.
Okay. Well, good. So what the reason why I don't mind, I want to spend even a little bit of time in this is, even though you think you played okay, let's find out why it worked. You kind of see what I'm saying? Like, what were you doing here, or why was it so easy now, but it just felt so terrible earlier? They're on a trolled. Their Ana got split. They like, even though you walked into a Reinhardt shield over here, a little bit unlucky, you were able to wrap around and set up a nice little angle over here. That's phenomenal. That's exactly what you want to do. So what happens here that doesn't happen elsewhere? Nice. Do you see what I was talking about? Remember what I was saying with the soldier thing? Like how you don't necessarily need to get to the backline.
Link. $1 of this donation.
But you stopped them from getting to the back line?
Children Hospital. You can shower Spillo in dollar and help Wildren.
So what does that mean here?
Their tracer can go into our backline.
Exactly. So you're like, this is my angle. Screw you. I want to play here because I want to use this to get to your backline. But their tracer's like, screw you. I want to get the backline. But the thing is like, she can't. You were here first. You got the corner. You got the mini health back. And you get the kill. Wild. Okay. Very, very well played.
Who's next?
And why do you think, like, I don't want you thinking too hard about this, but just for fun, okay? Why do you think it might be better that you actually are dueling their tracer than you are dueling their backline? This is like deep, like, this is like a serious, like, red pill stuff going on here.
Thinking because then I'm protecting my backline. I can't guarantee that my supports will be able to take care of their tracer.
Sure. Why do you think that's the case? Can you compare backlines for me?
Okay. They have Moira, Anna. I have Zenyatta, Anna.
Okay. So tell me about that.
So their tracer could kill say Arzent easier.
How's killing a Moira?
And killing Moira is fucking annoying.
It's obnoxious. Yeah. So your Zen live. If that's, you just basically say, screw you, tracer. You're not doing squat. Our Zen's gonna live, and we're gonna win because of that. And the funny thing is it's not just the fact. Now, I don't know how good the Zens are at this rank. So maybe this is something. Maybe I'm talking like this is Masters GM Zens. But most Zens are gonna try and help you with Harmony Orb in Discord. At least it's part of the time. But what can a Moira do to help a tracer do?
Their tracer?
Yeah. Well, can she help their tracer?
She could throw an orb at him.
Yeah, but do you think she's gonna do that?
Probably not.
Probably not. That's super inefficient. And the funny thing is, the coincidence here is you can actually see that in action here, because look at what happens.
Yes, the Moira's right there.
So the Moira, right? You shoot her, and the Moira can't help her. Look. Oh shoot! I have to help my tracer, but she's too far away. It's not time. So isn't that funny? But yeah, this is like a little bit above your pay grade. I wouldn't too worry about whether I should be dueling their tracer or not too much. But I just want you on an angle, on a flank. If somebody runs into you, keep them busy, right? All right, so let's see. Is all this making sense? And you could say no, because we've gone over a lot.
No, I'm making sense right now.
Okay. Not sure what was happening here. What was the deal here? Is this just getting healing? Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this where you should be going? Does this look smart?
I'm not sure.
Where are you positioned right now?
Basically, that's frontline, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, like, you don't have to overthink this. Just, does it feel right? You know, do you feel like you're on an angle or on a flank? And if the answer is no, then the answer is probably no. Right.
No.
So what should you be doing instead? And again, you've got options here. There's never always one right answer. What are your options here? So you go back to your team because you're like, my stupid honest not hitting me. And by the way, this is where, yeah, go grab the pack, exactly. Because it means you can stay here and not have to walk all the way in front of your honest. So that's bad. But okay, unlucky go next. This kind of stuff will happen where like the pack's taken. I need healing for my supports. Okay, now what could you do?
Thinking go to the left. Right
Why?
There. So I could get an angle on them.
Okay. Uh-oh. What are you gonna run into on the left?
Their ball.
Okay. What are you gonna do?
I'd probably shoot them.
Okay. Let me tell you something right now. Wrecking balls love dueling tracers. They love it. It makes them. You know what happened? You know why? Because when the game's
I
over.
have a job now, so I can sink dollar.
Okay, I'm sorry. These bit donations. You guys are killing me.
You can't beat me.
Balls love it because when the game's over with, the miserable game with the miserable tracer, they realize that, you know what, life outside of Overwatch isn't actually too bad. You're like, so yeah, you make it so yeah, exactly. Basically, they don't like doing tracers. They don't like doing tracers. Like it's just not fun. So like if you come here and you just start shooting ball, you can ignore ball if you want to. You could just sit here and hide and then be like, wait, 3, 2, 1, and then start shooting Moira, and she's gonna hate you. You're gonna force fade. You can wrap around. You could go the soldier. You could shoot Monkey. Like Monkey uses bubble, then hides behind a corner, and then you just walk out and you pulse palm on the back. He's gonna hate you, right? But you could also just shoot ball. And then what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
Gonna run.
He's gonna run away. He's gonna take a lot of damage. He's gonna run away. He's gonna spend time dueling you, which he just can't. Like he just can't. Like the balls almost never can kill tracers. But meanwhile, instead, what's happening is you're frontlining, and you almost died. You almost died. And then what you actually do is and then you know what's funny though is you actually fix it though. So this is really good. So okay. And look at that. That Moira has to legitimately leave. If she had not used her fade there, she would have died. And so on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Nice. This is kind of a... Brilliant. It's a little weird that your Nano Monkey went that far. I don't think you were ready for that. But yeah, I mean, that's the kind of the situation like right now. So this is a really good question because you're talking about, oh, I'm late and that kind of a thing. So what should you do now? Because what's the difficulty right now? Because this is where like ranked stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? So what's the difficulty here?
Monkey's all in there, and my team's all the way back there. He's by himself.
Can you set up an angle on this engage? Like, can you get up?
Really.
Can you get right? Exactly. No, you just can't. So what do you do?
No, I'm not sure.
Think about it, and don't be afraid to take a guess.
Okay.
Because there isn't really a very clear right answer here. There's my opinion, and then your opinion might be different, but we can talk about it.
Thinking maybe go to the right and wait till Monkey comes back and then shoot him.
So you're
From behind.
saying like here?
Yeah, like right here.
Okay, that would work fine. So you're just basically, you're like, you know what, my monkey's kind of feeding, but he'll probably be out fine, so I'm going to set up for the next fight. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I like that. The other thing you could do right now is conservatively blink forward and shoot people.
That too. Yeah.
Now that is definitely a little risky, right? There's a chance that you might die. You're not really on a great angle, so maybe you can get this Moira who's got no fade. Maybe she's discorded, you know. So that would also work. But I don't. This is not wrong. What you're saying is like, my monkey's feeding, but he'll get out. I'll be fine. I need to set up for next fight. That is also right. So what you did there, honestly, not too bad. Looks okay to me. Great. But that's the kind of quote unquote being late that I'm totally fine with. Did you have any opportunity to set up for that at all?
Yeah, no.
No, you didn't. So don't worry about it. Okay, and look at that. He's out. Okay, now this is where, you know, you know what, you're doing a good job this round anyway. Now we're hyping you up because we're apparently going to tear you down next round, at least from what you're saying. But this is good. This is really, really darn good. Like, is your team fighting right now?
Yeah.
Are you on an angle?
I'm right here behind them. Yeah.
Are you near cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. You have at least have options of cover with here and here. Like, you don't always have to be like next to a wall like a Zen does, but you have options. So this is really good. This is great. Even if you whiff this pulse bomb, I don't even care. Obviously, probably wouldn't have gone. I think you were going for the on and you ended up sticking the Moira, but like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if nothing else, if you force fade, if you force attention, like that pulse value is pulse value, right? So.
We're prepared to spend the whole law budget on this.
Oh my gosh. You guys are gonna make me feel bad.
You got what's coming to ya.
Listen. All right, I'm sorry, Trip. We got a war in my chat. I gotta pause for a second here. Okay, listen. Daddy loves both of you. You're both his favorites. If you want to spend any more bits, do a nice like Microsoft Paint drawing of me that I can put in my Discord. And then I will judge which one's better, and that's how I'll decide who's the superior one.
No, we're the favorite.
Hey, Bionicle boy, shut up. Okay, somebody call me a Bionicle boy, Trip. Tell you what. Okay, yeah, this is all fine. I mean, so because we can still get value out of good VODs, right? You tell me what was the reason that round felt so smooth. Why did that feel so smooth? What were you doing well? Not what your team was doing. What were you doing well?
Taking angles, taking good flanks on them.
Okay. What else?
I feel like timing was pretty good right there.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
But Spillo, I would win anyways. Are you saying you don't want my money?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I don't want your money. You have been more than enough generous. Thank you, though. But yes, yeah, you're absolutely right. I think your timing was actually quite good there. It was very good. So you should be proud of yourself. Now, you were not winning a lot of fights makes timing very easy. When things start to get messy and your teammates start struggling a little bit, it gets a lot harder. So we're going to see how things go here. But that's good, though, because that kind of stuff happens. So we can actually really get to the root of the issue. Not just, you're playing great, right? Okay. Now, oh boy. Before we continue here, is there anybody on the enemy team that looks like an easy snack for you to kill?
No one.
Yeah.
The easiest I'd say is Ana, but still pretty hard.
Well, we
Not
don't
really.
want our money either.
Okay. So, these bits, man, I'm sorry. This is the worst VOD review in the history of the world. So how do you get value? Because let me put it this way. If you only play Tracer to get 1 clips on the enemies Zenyatta or Widow, then you're playing Tracer poorly. You're not playing it, because what else does Tracer do? For example, if you were on an angle on a flank, but you can't 1 clip anybody without just instantly dying, why would you play Tracer then?
Right, money.
Why play Tracer?
Uh,
Because you're going to have people in your ranked games tell you this. They're on Hog, they're on Moira, you need to get off Tracer. If it hasn't happened yet, it will. So why still play Tracer? And why? It's hint. It's the reason why she's continually so unbelievably flexible in Overwatch League and below.
She could still pull attention, control flanks. Yeah.
Oh, you said it. You're so smart. Yes. Because the thing is yes, they can hook you. Yes, they have Moira Fade. Yes, they have shields and self heals and Wraith. That means it's going to be really difficult to actually get kills, but you can just be a permanent thorn in their side. You ever have like a rock in your shoe? Okay, that's you. And you could do that constantly. Constantly. And as long as you're aware of hook, sleep, things like that, and you play carefully, then you can get... The thing is like, for them to go Moira Reaper, right? They lose a lot of like damage, right? You kind of see what I'm saying? Like they don't get... Like for them to go hard counter the enemy Tracer, they have to pay. You kind of see what I'm saying? It's expensive. Like, do you think that your team is as scared? Like, the thing about you're playing your Zen. Are you happy that they're on like Moira Reaper now as Zen instead of Tracer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes my life a little easier, right? So for them to hard counter you, it's expensive for them. It's expensive for them. And you don't even have to hard commit to kills. If you just keep these guys tied up, your monkey's going to love it.
My goal in life is
You can
to
see
be
what
a
I'm
rock in a shoe.
Okay. So be the rock in the shoe, be annoying, don't die, and put out constant pressure. Constant pressure. That's the thing with Tracer, though. It's like the thing with Tracer is she's just almost impossible to counter. Like Tor, Brig, Moira, Ryan, Kree, or something like that. Maybe you could, like that would be almost too hard. You know what I'm saying? But like Overwatch League player, like you just can't. It's so hard to hard counter Tracer. It's almost impossible.
Like you're saying that now, and I already know what what I did wrong.
What?
Exactly what you said. I did the opposite.
Okay, but that's so good though.
Yeah,
because
I realize that now.
Right, and that's the thing, because it's so it makes me so happy to hear that, because it makes it so simple. Like, again, I'm not saying it's easy to fix. A lot of these things will take time, but you don't have to go into these games going, I don't know what to do. No, remove that. I just hit. My wife bought me this balloon and just smacked it with my hand. I was moving my arms too hard. But no, that you know what you have to do. It might be hard to do, but there's no guessing. If I tell you do 1,000 jumping jacks, yes, that's kind of tricky. That's hard, but you know exactly what you have to do. So I'm very happy to hear that. So
yeah,
what's the problem? Right now, there's already a problem. It's not a big problem, but I'm a little concerned.
Trying to fight that hog right there.
Yeah, this isn't great. You got to be really careful about this, right? You got to be really careful about this. Okay? So, were you anticipating hook?
Right there?
Yeah.
Probably not. I wasn't thinking about that.
Okay, something to think about. Because actually, what you actually did was fine, but I'm not sure if you're doing it for the right reasons, if that makes any sense. Okay, yeah. So now what's the plan? Now what do you do?
Right there. What I actually did is I went for Moira, but really I should have gone for a flank right there, I think.
Why?
Because
are you on a flank already? Oh, because this is gonna be such an important question to answer. Are you already kind of on a flank right now? Kinda,
yeah.
But why would you not go for the Moira?
Because I really don't want to do a Moira.
Okay. So that's the thing. Do you see what you're saying? So you're saying not angles are created alike.
Yeah.
Okay. Something to think about, because you're right. Sometimes this is technically an angle. I would rather have you dueling Moira here than standing here.
Yeah.
Bad stuff happens here. But I would rather have you here, exactly like you said, than here. Keep going. You earned it. You killed the hog. Keep going. Find the target that is the most... Because why are squishy targets the targets that you go for? Not just because they're easier to kill, but even if you don't kill them, what do they do in voice chat?
Tracer on me!
Yeah, exactly. And or even if they don't join, they blow every cooldown, right? They panic.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. If you force nade, that's not a nade the nade your team doesn't have to worry about. You force sleep dart, team doesn't have to worry about sleep dart. You force shield or rock, team doesn't have to worry about those resources as well. Moira, what are you gonna force? Maybe fade.
Fade.
Right? Not very expensive for them to do that. So, okay, let's see what happens. And to be clear, I don't think this is a terrible mistake either. I don't think like, oh, you're trolling. I just think you could be doing better things than what you're doing right now. Like, it's like you do get rid of her. You know, you do go send her back to your team, and now you've kind of cleared her out, and now you can keep going, but I just think it could have been better. Okay? I mean, this is not bad, man. This is not bad. I mean, there you go. Good job. Now, what do you need to do now? What is the number one priority for you?
Probably back off and get heals, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Just a general mindset here. It's just, yeah, you just need to survive. You've done a lot. You kill the Hog, you kill the Moira, you keeping the Sigma distracted. Now just survive. Now like get a Mega. Maybe you can keep doing the Sigma. Maybe you can go and pressure a little bit from here. You don't need to go crazier.
Yeah, go first.
That's
and I leave.
That's fine. This is good, right? Great. You know what? You forgot about spawn, but I'm not going to even give you a hard time. This was actually a pretty decent fight from you. Okay? Could have been cleaner. What could have been cleaner about this fight? What could have been cleaner?
Okay. Could have taken some better flanks and backed off earlier.
Sure.
I'm thinking.
And remember the Moira versus Ana, keep it deepening, that kind of whole conversation.
Yeah, and that.
Right, of course. But not bad. This is okay. This is okay. My only concern with this here is like maybe I think it's because he's discorded and he's low. I think you go for it, but do be careful, right? Like this would be a situation where you would want your Zarya, like for example, like if your Zarya starts to peak here, and then that's kind of when you want to go. Like try and have a general idea of when that is. But I'm being a little nitpicky. Honestly, not too shabby. How much have you played this season?
This season?
Mm-hmm.
I can look that right now. I have Overwatch open. I've played 82 games this season.
Okay. How many hours is that in the thing? I don't remember.
Let me see. Uh, 15 hours.
Okay. What was your peak SR last season and this season?
Okay, last season I peaked 2873.
Okay. This season?
This season 2713.
Okay.
But I think I played more last season than this season. This season I haven't played that much. Been busy.
Odd. This is odd.
Oh, I wasn't looking.
Yeah. This is just strange. So you see this. What do you think?
Right now I'm thinking probably shouldn't go into that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But you choose to go into this?
And yeah.
Or you choose
And
to...
I run.
Okay. So what was the plan there, though? Just duel the Reaper?
No, I was trying to take a flank there, and then I was trying to go up there, but Reaper caught me right there.
Flank here to where?
To their side right there, behind there.
But you would run into the same targets that you just ran away from.
Yeah.
You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you know what? What I ended up doing there was going. You see the high ground up there, there.
Mm-hmm. You wanted to go up to the Ana.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Understandable. My only concern is maybe it takes too long to get there. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're a little late. That's my concern. So this is where I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And I don't think there's the right answer or not. I want you to think about it a little bit, okay?
Okay.
In this situation, would it have been better for you to peek here and shoot, blink here, maybe blink here, pressure point, shoot, harass the Sigma, Moira, Hog, get them to look at you? Or would it have been better to take a little bit longer to blink all the way up top and go get that Ana? Or maybe even blink across this way and go up top to go for Ana? What do you think?
I think what you said first would have been the best, I think.
You sure? Why is that?
Because I'd be pulling their attention. The people, those tanks right there, would have been pulling their attention. Would have gave time for my team to go in.
Okay. What's the priority if this is what you're going to do? For you, what do you have to make sure?
That I don't die.
Okay. Correct. And it also, don't take too much damage either, really. You want to you want to avoid everything that you possibly can. I would agree, but I was also very open for you going high ground if you hustle. But you have to understand, like, this is the kind of thing when people talk about Tracer playstyles, I think it's a load of crock. Every Tracer needs to either I am hard playing for a kill or I'm just playing for pressure, and that's it. There's really nothing complicated. You can just say here, it's more important for me to put pressure at the right time than it is for me to put pressure on the right target. That's really the only conversation that we're really having here. You kind of see what I'm saying? And there really isn't any wrong answer. I mean, there's just this is, I feel like this right now is probably the more consistent play, if that makes sense. So yeah, I would agree with that. But it's all about knowing what your role is and knowing what you gotta do, right? And what's expected of you. So this takes a lot of time, and obviously running into the Reaper is a bit unlucky. But like it just nothing. Also, there's a mega right here. I think you were looking in the wrong spot. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, like you'd be surprised at how long it takes to figure out some of the stuff. But yeah, because the ultimately you do take this angle, but you don't even really get to the Ana in time. Okay, you've taken the high ground now. But like, ooh boy, like it's sketchy. You see what I'm saying? It's sketch as all get out. This fight might already be lost. Nice. Survive. Oh.
God,
yeah. See, and I'll be real honest with you. This is also, I'm not loving this either. So this is fine here, but do you feel like kind of, this is kind of spooky. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This feels ugly.
The middle of all of them.
Yeah, it's like I'm getting like an uncomfortable feeling in my stomach. So you blink around, and that's good. This is much better right here. But I'm not even sure that I would have blinked back towards him again. So I think I would have blinked up towards the stairs. So like here, I might have blinked up this way, right? And then peeked out and shot more, and then okay, I'm gonna recall out and then blink back towards my team this way, get healing, whatever. Nice stick. But then again, the question is like, you just need to live. You just need to live, and as long as you do that, you're gonna be okay. So this hog is kind of pooping on you. I wouldn't even say that you're doing things completely wrong. I just think some of these things that need to be cleaned up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is like, I guess I'm gonna might end up with 2 odd VOD reviews in a row where there's actually not a lot of big concepts that we have to go over. I just think you need to clean them up. I think you actually have a pretty good understanding of what you need to be doing. You're just not doing them very well. Like again, like, is this an angle? Are you on the right time? Yes, but an Ana just walks back from spawn and sleeps you. You know, like this keeps happening, so you keep getting cheesed. Alright, this fight's probably... yeah, I'd probably play for this, the Reaper solo. Recall, probably recall. Oh! I can't believe it, man. This is wild. Okay, so this is something. So again, you're doing almost all the right things, but like you desperately need to grab a health back here or recall. I think you're going to go look for your supports. Stop that. Recall, just have a health back, man. And then you die to the same stupid hog coming back from spawn. Absolutely brutal, man. Okay. Okay, well we keep going.
Can you give me a sec? I need to use the bathroom.
Of course. Well, chat, you're killing me. You've got like a trillion different stupid donations. Thank you guys for all the bits. I appreciate it. I wasn't kidding about the drawing though. You always gotta, if you want to make a drawing, I'd be down. I always love when you're as egotistical as I am, I don't give a rip. Hog Simulator, yeah, it's brutal, man. It's just the same thing over and over again. It's wild. Trying to catch up if I miss any of chat here. Why play Tracer? Because I like playing Tracer? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Tracer's just one of those heroes that's just very, very, very hard to find a circumstance where she's not going to be at least halfway decent, or at least you can find a way to work around it. Spooky stream, sort of. Yeah. The joke is that my face looks uglier without the makeup. So. All right, welcome back. Okay, you good to go?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's do this.
I need help.
this is kind of like what we were talking about with the soldier thing. Remember that? How where if you run into a Pharah here instead of the Ana, are you okay with that?
Not
Think
sure
so?
what to put here, but I want
Do you remember
to
the
hear boss
soldier
talk, so
from
here
the
it
first
is.
round?
Yeah, soldier.
Yeah. Can you beat a Pharah in a 1v1?
Depends.
Okay. Explain.
Usually if she doesn't have heals, but if she gets heals, no.
Yeah. So that's why I specified 1v1.
Yeah.
And again, the situation is that if she does get heals, it's now a 2v1. And as long as you survive, you're happy with that trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Yes. If this Pharah tries to flank, she will die. Thank you, Baggins, for the sub. Appreciate it. Okay, let's keep going. Tragedy. Looks like you're a little late. I'm not sure if that's just because your Zarya is trolling or what. Yes, your Zarya is trolling.
Yep.
I mean, I look at the rest of your team and I'm like, there's no way that they're taking a fight here, so I don't blame you for this.
Much better.
Close. Still living on the angle. I actually... Oh, Spec, thank you for the sub. I actually have a little bit of a problem with this because you are on the angle here. You get the pulse. You don't quite get the kill, but no, actually, I was gonna say like I don't like you leaving the angle, but I do think that like you wanted to go back towards your team. But yeah, this is a little bit awkward. Yeah, I think. Well, let's see. What do you think? Is there anything that you could have cleaned up here in terms of your position? Because the positioning is what I'm like feels off here, but I'm not sure.
Okay. So right here. Is that?
What do you think? Anything stand out to you majorly? It's okay to say no.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. I don't see anything terribly particular. You just lost both tanks before like anything should have happened. So, oh dear. So I mean, really, I think the most important things that we've talked about are filling in some of the details with the first round of what to do if you run into somebody while you're trying to get to backline, avoiding playing main, what to do when your monkey goes in deep, right? All those kind of details, right? And then we touched on those a little bit in the second round, but a lot of it has just been the mindset is there, the execution is just missing a little bit, right? Your timing isn't bad, but sometimes you get up a good flank or an angle, but you see, or a Roadhog Sigma Moira, and instead of like just pressuring, you run all the way across the map and then accomplish nothing anyway. But honestly, do you have any questions so far?
No.
Okay. I don't know why I preface that with an honestly, but that happens. So honestly, I think this so far, I think the way you're not just the way you're playing, but the way you're explaining some of your decisions to me is good. I think it's promising. That was not so promising. Was this I'm gonna go flank this way? Oh shoot, that's probably not a good enough flank. I'm gonna go this way instead.
One.
Wait, what was that?
This is confusing to me. Did you go right and like, oh shoot, wrong side?
No, I kind of expected him to go over there.
So you went this way and you're like, no, I shouldn't be over here. I should be over here instead.
Yeah, because it's a pretty tight angle.
Yeah, I agree. This probably makes a lot more sense for Tracer. Just in that situation, you would want to obviously start off going this direction, so you get here a little faster. Okay. Now, this is where we put on our Jeopardy game show theme music, because what do you do? Because we're running into the problem again, aren't we? What's the problem? Same thing that happened last round. Who's on your angle? Yeah. So what do you do?
Pharah Reaper.
So what do you do?
But I think I take the other angle instead.
So you
that's
don't.
That's what I did.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Okay. Is that what you should have done? If so, why? Or if not, why?
Thinking maybe not, because then they just get that right there for free. No
Okay.
contesting them at all.
Could you reasonably contest them safely?
Maybe from the stairs right there.
Okay.
Try not to die.
Okay. Okay. So this one's a tough one.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. This one, especially with this little tiny little space here, you might contest them well. You might not. You might hit a damage because they also have a mercy. You might take one damage boosted rocket because you're a little too close, or that Reaper might force your recall early and then you don't get healing, so you have to go all the way back to your team because you don't have a Zen. Like, there's a lot of little details here. And my point is not that I want you to think about the details too much, but this is something you'd have to kind of try and trust your gut on. But these are the situations where it's not so much important that you make the right decision, just so much that you make a decision and stick with it, if that makes any sense. So if you want to contest these guys, fine. You could probably do it. You are not going to get any kills, no one clips. Maybe get 40% pulse charge, an hour, but you will help your team. Or you can leave the angle and go around through here, or wrap around this side and play patty cake with a Roadhog. Not exactly the best thing you could be doing, but you can. You could also blink through main, drop through, wrap around, and you're going to be absolutely late, but you get a lot of value if you end up here. So there's just many options. I just want you to pick one and roll with it, right? So let's see what you do. You give up, you take an angle on the Hog. Fine. Now, this is what we don't love, right? Because what have you done here? What have you done? Do you see any red on your screen right now? Like, really?
No.
Not much. It's the Roadhog, right? So what does this mean for you now in terms of positioning? What can you do?
There.
What was that?
Not really sure.
Okay.
Right there.
You have options, though. You could go here and shoot here. This might be a little scary. You could blink through. I don't know how many blinks you have here, but you could go blink all the way through here. And now you're set up on the back line. Now the angle is clear, and now you can start to pressure from here. And again, play your life, right? Be very careful. Yeah. But you could do that. And would that be a lot of pressure?
Yeah. I didn't think of doing that.
Yeah. That's okay. That's why we're reviewing this, to practice these things. But this feels ugly. You kind of see what I'm saying? This feels a whole lot of nothing, but it also feels stressful as all get out. Now, to be clear, this point... Well, what do you think about this point for Tracer, first off? What are your thoughts?
Usually not. I don't think it's the best point for Tracer.
Why?
Hold on.
Sure. Shut up, guys. Oh my gosh.
Alright, I'm sorry. Someone's talking to me.
Yeah, no problem.
Or what was
so
that?
You're talking about like this tracer on this map.
Oh yeah. I think it's just the type map, I'm thinking.
Okay. Yeah. I would agree with that. What hero would probably be better? A hero that you play comfortably.
Soldier maybe?
Okay. Do you play Soldier comfortably?
Yeah.
Okay. What other heroes do you play comfortably? Or is it just those two?
No, let's play Ashe, Echo, McCree.
Yeah. I would probably like the McCree here, but Soldier would be okay as well. Okay. But yeah, I would agree with you. This one feels a little tricky for Tracer. It requires some good decision making, which you're still working on right now.
Much better.
Okay. Do you understand like what the whole deal with that fight was? Make a decision if you want to take the 2v1 or if you want to take a different angle. You took a different angle, but you really didn't, did you?
Yeah.
You left the angle first chance you got instead of like actually. Now obviously you could not have just sat in here because you would have gotten hooked at some point. But you can keep going, right? You can keep going. You could have gone in here and you had different options. Okay. Oh boy.
And yeah.
Now I want you to think real quick. Assuming you don't just get annihilated by Genji Cat, where do you go? Why are you peeking here?
I know it's probably it wasn't the best decision, but I think the reason I did it was because the whole team was right there. My whole team was there.
Okay, so where do you want to position? Oh yeah, Cassidy. I can't. I forget you forgetting the name. I literally was like, I didn't even think about it. Somebody in chat says Cassidy, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a cool name. Anyway,
Nice.
I like
Nice to
literally
meet you too.
just whoosh. Okay, my bad. Okay, so so you want to set up here. So where do you want to go?
All the way to the right.
Okay. Why? What does this
Like
accomplish?
right there. Because they can't directly shoot me from right there.
Okay, and where would you go from here?
I'm thinking further right.
Okay.
Take a long flank. I'm thinking
Ooh, okay. Yeah. You can also go underneath as well.
underneath.
Yeah, but I like what you said as well. All right. Okay. Annoying. Okay. Tragedy. I mean, this is a bit of a mess. This is a bit of a mess. Because you died so late last time, this isn't even a proper fight, right? Like, this is, like, technically what you're doing now is the right thing, but, like, there's just nothing happening. Like, your team is down one. You're late to the fight. Optimally, you would be already around and have your angle set up, but because you died to just random fire rocket, like, it's just a wash. Like, there's not a whole lot to say here. Are you swapping?
Yeah.
Would you like me to just quickly look at your Ash?
Honestly, it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So then let's stop then, and just for like visual cues, okay? Like you don't forget like what's actually happening in the battlefield. Just like look at the map, right? Hey, Sleepyheart, thank you for the sub. What are your main takeaways from this map?
This map specifically right here?
Sure.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Just take flanks, pressure them.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Was that majorly the big one for you?
I don't know.
Okay. What happens if you run into somebody on the flank?
Duel them?
Yeah.
Pressure them?
Yeah, if it's somebody you're comfortable doing, sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What about this one? Think about this one. What do we talk about here?
Talked about, pressuring them again.
Okay. What could you have done cleaner here?
Probably made some better decisions about where I want to go and sticking to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. What about this one?
Ready for battle.
And this one, yeah, like same thing. Just making a decision and sticking with it, not just changing it, doing nothing.
Yep. So here's where we really get down to the nitty-gritty before we wrap up this review. Okay. I'm not your coach because I'm going to work with you once. I might work with you again sometime in the future, but I'm not working with you on a consistent basis. You are your coach. I'm a third party for hire essential reviewer that's going to tell you some highlight things and hopefully get you thinking about things the proper way, but you have to be the one that executes these things. And it seems like you've already taken some initiative. It's not just with a review, but looking at some other like VODs and getting an idea of like what you want to be doing. So the question is how do you get better at this? How do you coach yourself? How do you work through something? How do you improve these things? Like what's your plan?
My plan, just try to have it in my mind, just
okay.
If I make the mistake, I'm like, oh, I died because of this reason. I should change it next fight.
Okay.
Just know what I'm doing wrong and try to fix it.
What if you don't know what you're doing wrong in the game? Because like the game is fast paced. You might die and be like, wait, what? Or something, or you lose a team fight. Like, wait, what? So how do you think about? How do you learn from those experiences?
I look at my own VODs.
Okay, what are you looking for?
Looking for, why I died. What caused me to die right there.
Okay. I would go as far as saying, reviewing your own VODs, don't just look at why you died. Because there's going to be a lot of fights that you might even win or where you don't die. You lose a fight, but you don't die. Okay? Mm-hmm. What should you be looking for in those fights?
maybe what I could have done better.
Sure. Was I in the best spot? Right? Was it better for me to be elsewhere or doing other things? Could I have used my cooldowns better? You're smart. I want you to understand that you have, like, my dad always used to say, like, what's smart mean, right? Okay, let's put it this way. You are educated, at least in terms of what your role is. You know, I a couple of times we hit some road bumps and I helped you through them a little bit, but for the most part, you knew exactly what you should and shouldn't have been doing for almost the entire VOD. And that's very good. So you really have the tool set to improve yourself significantly in terms of the knowledge. But the question is are you going to be able to take that tool set and actually apply it? So all you need to do is, like I said, could I position better? Was that the best move here, or should I have gone elsewhere, right? And give yourself that feedback. Doesn't have to be long. 5 minutes between. Just do, like, legitimately. If you did 5 to 10 minutes of self-review between VODs or between queues, you would be game. You'd be improving. And that's all it takes. Just give yourself a little bit of here. Oh, that was a really bad map. Why did that feel so bad? Was Tracer just not the pick, or like was I just positioned wrong? You know, and sometimes, like we saw today, you will do the right thing and still get punished. That's why I don't like saying, oh, I died, I messed up. Sometimes that's just not the case. Sometimes you played very well and then you died anyway. Sometimes you played like trash and you win anyway. You kind of see what I'm saying? So be objective about it. If we screw the result, look at how the quality of play was. Was the quality of play good? Could it have been better? And you go from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That doing that consistency along with just general consistency with your level of play, playing consistently a little bit every day. Doesn't have to be a lot, but a little bit every day. Try not to split your heroes. So as you said, I play all hit scan heroes. Be careful about that. How much do you play a day? About?
Maybe like 2 to 3 hours every day.
So that's reasonable. That's not a bad amount of time, but just be careful about how many players that you play with. That would start to become a problem if you were playing like 4 or 5 heroes, if that makes sense. Because that means that you're not likely to get one hero played every single day, if that makes sense. So for example, if you're playing 2 or 3 hours, you might not play Ashe every single day, depending on how DPS queues are.
Like,
go ahead.
Like usually I always try to play Tracer because I just want to improve on Tracer, so I usually play Tracer. And usually, if I'm not doing good, that's when I'll swap to a different character.
Why?
If we need anything, anything else.
I like that phrased better, because if you're struggling with Tracer because you're playing poorly or you're dealing with something that you can't figure out, swapping is the absolute worst thing that you could possibly do. Because you're dealing with situations of like, oh, I have to figure this out. I have to solve this. And even if you don't solve it in the fly, when can you solve it?
Later when if I look back at the VOD.
Right. And that's how learning and improvement happens. Now, I'm not saying, they're playing literal Torb, Kree, Brig, like that might be a situation where even an Overwatch League player doesn't play Tracer, right? So you don't even want to review that. But if this is difficult, this is unfavorable, I don't know what I'm doing on this map, figure it out. Nobody's going to cry if you lose a ranked game. As long as you're giving your best effort and trying different things and thinking things through, you're fine. You're not throwing the game. Tracer's an amazing hero. Tracer is, like we said, almost impossible to hard counter. There's almost never a situation where you have to swap off Tracer. You just need to get better at Tracer, and you need to figure it out. So I encourage you to, have another DPS hero, just in case, or maybe another hero like McCree, or Cassidy, or Reaper, or whatever, to play around with. But there's nothing wrong with figuring out situations, and even a game where it's like really, really difficult, but you figure out a situation to make it work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get you.
Yeah. Now, if it starts to get really, really, really frustrating and you're demotivated to play, then maybe an adjustment here and there. But even then, like you do need to get yourself in the mindset of like, I know this might be a little frustrating, but it's okay. It's good for me long term. Eat your vegetables, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have any questions about anything at all?
Questions? Nah.
Okay. So this is very good. I think you have a good foundation. And I encourage you to go practice and be consistent and be patient, because I think what we saw was relatively promising. All right, mate. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
You have a good weekend. All right.
All right. You too, man.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. So that was Trip. That was our Plat Tracer, and that was like a pretty good solid thing. So again, I know a lot of you guys are like, why is he being so nice? This is just one-on-ones and voice. One-on-ones and voice. Like there'll be a little bit of troll, like a little bit of tough love here and there, but like that's just how I do coaching, y'all. You guys have seen me do like my non-voice reviews for too long. I don't do things like I don't flame people when I coach. I do not flame people when I coach. I am definitely a tough, pretty blunt coach with a lot of things, but not insulting at all. So okay, if I ever do a voice review, you better be extra mean. I mean, I'll just hear your voice and I'll be like already like convulsing, so I don't know if any words are gonna come out. So no flaming is easy. Listen, buddy. When you have to shave more than like once every 2 or 3 weeks, you can start to throw trash my way, okay? Okay. Let's do some Ask Spylo. No, wait. We needed some like wait. This is Ask Spylo. Okay, sorry. You have to shave every morning and evening? Yikes, dude. Okay, true story. All right, I'm gonna admit it. I shave like once a week. Probably should not have admitted that. I do only shave like once a week. And I don't even usually shave myself. My wife actually shaves because I'll be working and I probably should not have said anything. Okay. Let's get this all situated. Yeah, that seems to be okay. Not hammer time. Yield, Ask Spylo. Yeah, okay. Let's do some Ask Spylo. All right. Do you think that there is any validity to having a more aggressive Lucio playstyle on both ladder and scrims, or should Lucio's other strategies of the team apply the correct order the most possible as possible? Many coaches seem to have different opinions of correct playstyle, whereas some people say the team, others still do the anthem team looking for opening angles to get pressure to you. Now, if you mean by aggressive Lucio, you mean I'm gonna go like literally Reddit Lucio and go duel like flankers and go duel like Widowmakers. I mean, sometimes you go for the Widow, but usually that's not what in scrims you almost ever want to do. But at the same time, if you mean aggro Lucio is in like there's like a soldier in high ground, we amp in, I peel off from my team and start to like boop the soldier, or like we peel, like we go in and I go in and I'm literally diving the Batiste with my diva. That is absolutely something you do at even an Overwatch League level. It depends. It's definitely more of a playstyle thing. It depends on the team. Some teams have different ways of approaching the game, but you're not trolling, playing an aggressive Lucio style. The key thing is that while you're doing that, you are technically within your team's R. Like you are still team within your team. So when I mean aggressive Lucio, I don't mean literally going in and solo diving DPS unless it's like a Widowmaker by yourself. It's I have my team in my aura just barely, but I'm going for backline. I'm denying the DPS and the off angle. I'm bullying the tracer like. As long as you can have your cake and eat it too when you're playing Lucio, especially with, I think they buffed Azaro not too long ago, correct? So playing a more passive Lucio versus a more aggressive Lucio, like that is not a bad versus good. That is very much there's a good way to play aggressive, there's a bad way to play aggressive, there's a good way to play defensive, there's a bad way to play defensive. And in terms of ladder and scrims, in ladder, going more Reddit Lucio is probably more like okay because there's less communication, so you can get away with dueling people easier. But in scrims, Reddit Lucio is not so good, but the aggressive style is very good, very helpful. Right, I mean disable versus enable, like that whole crap again. It's the same thing there. Like you can disable by killing somebody. Okay, so that sounded funnier in my head. Tracer player here. There's this scenario that has been happening frequently the past few days on defend. I check where my team and the enemy team are. The instant the enemy team goes in, I go hard in the backline. Usually get 1-2%. No idea. So what you're describing is I do everything perfectly as Tracer, but my team somehow still loses the fight. I mean, I think a little bit of column A of you're probably not as good with your timing. And I'm not saying that's actually what you're saying, but like there's probably something with your gameplay that there's like a micro detail, or maybe you're not as consistent with your timing as you think you are, or maybe you misread the situation or whatever. And then also it's like, okay, yeah, you played well, your team loses team fights. unlucky. You're just telling me that you climb from mid gold to high plat. Well, you're doing something right. So maybe something else about your gameplay needs to be cleaning up. Maybe you're like, I'm doing the right thing in this aspect, but my cooldown management is really bad. Maybe my target focus is really bad. Maybe I'm missing literally 100% of my pulse bombs. So I think this is where it's really hard for me to objectively coach you, but it might be helpful for you to coach yourself. So just like I was talking with a Tracer player in the previous review, go look at the replay and be objective about it. Is there anything that I could have done better here? Was I well positioned? Was it timing? Was it target, or was it just unlucky? Because I guarantee you, at least 30, 40, 50% of those fights, you can go, yeah, like maybe I was a little early. Oh yeah, I probably could have come from this position instead of that position. That probably would have been better, and so on. Don't just say, oh, I should have had better aim. Not that. Anything but that. But I guarantee there's other things that you could have done better. What you're describing is impossible for me to really help you out specifically, sadly. What do you think it takes to be a good coach? Game knowledge. I'm not gonna actually. People skills. Leadership skills. I don't know. People skills is kind of the same as leadership skills. We'll put it and we'll divide it into communication in skills and leadership skills, because both can be like, people skills can be split between those two. I would say this one is the most important one, and then followed by the other two, depending on the situation. Now, I know that's a hot take, but hear me out. The reason why I think some level of game knowledge is most important for most coaches is because game knowledge is what gets you that initial level of respect that allows the communicational skills and the leadership skills actually to have value. In other words, the optimal world would be that game knowledge is actually not that important. Not even rank. I'm talking actually knowing the game. You don't have to be a wizard. But the realistic situation is that, like, unless the team already trusts you, your ability to like communicate and lead is sometimes a little hairy. Like, in other words, I had a much easier time. Like, I remember, like, actually I can leak this now. So you guys remember Chicken Contendies, right? That whole team with Harblu and Gig, Zolik, Suppose, Salty, Tanner from high school. I trialed with that team. And I swear I got the job from like one tip that I gave. I swear. I mean, I don't think it was just that, but that was I literally was like, Gig was going in on Monkey like way ahead of Harblu, and Harblu wasn't able to like follow up with the brawl. So we'd go in with Primal. This was in like Winston Goats versus Rhine Goats, and he'd cause like all this chaos, but Harblu would be like across the map and not able to like actually murder anybody with 100 charge. And so I was like, all right, Chazzy, you need to like chill out when you go in. Like, make sure that Harb is like actually able to commit with you. Like that timing has to like be there. Otherwise, like Salty's not gonna be able to. And it was just like that one thing, and like I could tell Harblu was like, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Harblu was like, yeah, that's absolutely what needs to be fixed. And I think that was like a big thing, because I remember it was like weird. It was like live scrim knowledge. I hated trialing like that. But like, if this is important, at least a certain baseline of it, just so you can get to the point where you can actually get value out of the real coaching skills, which is communication and leadership. Like those are the real ones. Like in terms of priority, this is not a hierarchy. This is just a priority, if that makes sense. Yeah. But that's my shortish answer to that question. You know, when you spend like 4 hours playing and either gain or lose SR, how do you keep on the grind when the improvement isn't really there? I mean, because the improvement isn't really tied to SR. You have to understand that 4 hours sounds like a long time, but if you think about it, even optimistically, 4 hours might only be like 15, 14 games. If you were to say, Joe, I have a 6-sided die here. I've weighted the die, so there's a 5% chance, more of a chance that you get a 1, 2, or a 3 rather than a 4, 5, or a 6. Do you know how many dice rolls it would take for you to actually see that 5% chance thing pay off? For the actual probability, like thousands for the probability to actually like work out. So you understand you're in the same way. Whether you win or lose a game is a little bit of a dice roll. It's going to be whether your teammates work together well, maybe somebody's having a bad day in the enemy team, and so on. You improving yourself even by 30% better is really only like a 5% improvement, right? Because if you think about it across the whole thing, It's not even 5% actually, because across the whole lobby, you are 8.33% of the game's contribution, right? And 30%, it's like more like it'd be like a 2.5% across lobby. You have a higher chance. So it's like essentially like your impact is only 2.5%. So it's like even if you significantly improve, you're still going to lose games. So you would need to play a lot of games to see that return on investment. So you could be significantly better player. I'm talking 30, 40% better, 30, 40% smarter, however you can measure that, and not see that payoff until you've played like 100 games. And that's assuming you got 30, 40% better. Most people are not going to get 34% better. The person I just reviewed with, maybe he gets like 5, 10% better after that review and after some self-study over the next month. So that's just how it is. Like if you're playing because you want to like climb and win, you're going to be really like disappointed, mate, because that's just not how anything in life works. Anything. It takes time. So you have to actually enjoy what you're doing and actually enjoy the progress of it. Like you should feel good when you make the right decision and you still lose a game. That should be like satisfying. Right. Do I believe in Elo hell? Because I'm getting pressured. I'm still being a plat. I'm still being a plat and a 1-star silver border. If that's not, you have not played the game much at all. 1-star silver border is not a big deal. I was in plat till I was probably close to a gold border. Yeah, no. I mean, do you understand that pros have played, like all of them have played till platinum or diamond borders and beyond? All of them. All of them. Not a single level. Nobody below GM like GM above has played the game for less than a platinum border. I would bet my life on it. Unless they like OTP'd Moira at the right time and they're like almost, platinum border. Nobody. You were, yeah, exactly. You were like little baby. Yeah, don't. There's literally not. People bully you because if people don't bully you about being a platinum 1-star silver border, they'll bully you because you're a Smurf. If people don't bully you for that, I mean, it's the same thing. Oh, imagine being plat. Oh, imagine being diamond. Oh, imagine being masters. It never stops. Oh, imagine until you're little 4.6K, and then imagine not being in contenders. Imagine contenders players piping off again. Oh, imagine being bottom of Overwatch League. Like, where does it stop? It never ends. You have to turn that stuff off, man. And if it's not Overwatch, it's some other thing that you're participating in where that kind of talk is going to happen. So you have to deal with it. OTP Moira to the 4K. I mean, that was it. Yeah, Moira was very, very easy to get value out of, and she was also quite strong. So there you go. But no, I do not believe in Elo hell. Made a video on that. It might be that the actual trash talk that you're taking about that and how you're responding to it might actually be making you play worse. So that's something to look into. Bahrain Dive. Ball, D.Va, Tracer, Pharah, Lucio, Mercy. Like avoided, you mean? It's like Arabian Dive. How does this comp work? It's literally just dive comp, but everybody requires basically no resources. It's just basically dive comp where nobody plays. You have Ball doesn't need healing. D.Va tries to avoid. I mean, D.Va needs a little bit of heal, but you just have a bunch of targets that you can't isolate. You cannot isolate and kill a Ball or a D.Va or a Tracer or a Pharah or a Lucio or Mercy without like Sombra hack. And even then, it's extremely difficult because they can go hunting for your Translocator. So the way it works is you're going to take angles with your Ball, with Tracer, with your Pharmacy, because your Pharmacy can go wherever she wants, and you're going to 3-2-1. And your Ball's going to roll through. Your Tracer's going to shoot from the flank. Your Pharah's going to go a little bit more aggressive. Your D.Va might boost her in a little bit. Maybe your D.Va doesn't even dive yet, right? And just pokes a little bit. Your Lucio goes in, and this is where you absolutely red at Lucio. You're essentially just another Tracer at this point because there is nobody to peel for or help. And then you just rinse and repeat. And it's really, really good if you have a really good Ball, really good Tracer, really good Pharah, and so on. It's literally just avoided / Arabian Dive. And you just, because it's about Yazin's comp, basically. You just go in hyper aggressive, 3-2-1 over and over again. You don't always have to like hard commit the first time because your comp is so self-sustaining that you can just like, oh, that one didn't work. Let's just go grab health packs and try again. But yeah, that's basically it. It's kind of a 6-man, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a 6-man. The only reason it's not an actual hard 6-man is because your Pharmacy doesn't always hard commit, and your Lucio doesn't always hard commit, and your D.Va doesn't always hard commit. So like none of those heroes really have to hard commit. Balrain versus 6-man. So we actually played that. So here's the thing. So I'm not going to take full credit for this because I don't know what it was like behind avoided doors. But I strongly suspect that sheer cold, me and the team were the reason why this composition was played the way it is. Because we got very good at playing Sombra Reaper / Sombra Tracer comps. I coached a European team, Backbone, Shade, Refid, and we smoked avoided comp when they were, because they used to play it with Soldier and Zarya sometimes. We'd bubble the ball in. And we smoked them. They played it with Ana too. They didn't play with the Lucio. It was like Pharmacy, Ball, Zarya / Ana. Well, Zarya just died off of cooldown. We dove them, they died. We dove them, they died. We dove them, they died. And we isolate the Pharmacy and they died. So that's right after that. That, I think it was October, is when they made the swap from Zarya. A10 was on their team. A10, you guys know A10. He was on their team. He died off of cooldown. So then they swap him out and they go, I'm special, I think it was on D.Va. And then they went Lucio. So then now how do we dive? Now we managed to adjust a little bit. We could go, okay, we can hack the Mercy, we can hack the D.Va, we can hack the Ball, there's a lot of people to hack. But the problem we ran into that we weren't able to adapt in time is that their Ball and Tracer would perma hunt our Sombra Translocator. So it was really, really hard for us to get hacks and dives because our Sombra was constantly getting bullied. Because our Sombra basically had to play inside of our team because if she got split, she got spy checked, and then she got killed because they were constantly hunting Translocator. So there's your little bit of like Overwatch, like meta history. But I'm convinced that what we did to them is like what permanently forced that composition to play with a Lucio Mercy. Not that, I mean, any team, good dive team would have figured that out. We just happened to be the first ones, I think. Might not have been the first one, but from what I know. Okay, I believe what Lucio here is doing is a misplay because he's not coming in from an off angle and directly diving into the enemy backing. Increase less flash rate. He believes only his timing also if depression, it's worth getting a boop on the Rhine. Okay, so this seems like somebody's got a little bit of an argument within the team, so this will be fun. Please help me, Coach Spyro. Tell me that my teammate is a complete idiot. Absolutely. Be happy to. I mean, yeah, this is I mean, let's put it this way. If you guys are actually pushing in with your Lucio, then yes. So I do agree that this is more of an issue of timing than anything else. I actually, if I were your Lucio, I would not be super concerned. I do think the boop I actually think your Lucio might be right here. Because the thing is like, if you guys could push in here and get this boop, this hits the Sigma and the Ryan, this boop is massive. And it's worth the risk if your Sigma can walk in here and throw shield in the middle of them and you can be in here swinging. Because I mean, it would take an ungodly shot to be able to make that work. Yeah, I actually agree with you, Lucio. There's a big boop. He needs to first off not hit the floor. He needs to be able to boop and then like continue to wall ride. But yeah, that your Lucio is actually right. Holy smokes. I mean, flash isn't an issue if you got a 6-man commit and you have a Sigma shield on top of you. It's worth it for that boop. Especially when you're playing Symmetra and they're not, you need to run them over. You have a man advantage, use it. He believes the play is fine, which, well, I believe is way too early since we're providing a fresh and he asked top 5 who thought the play, so you just stay in the same and keep running there. Okay. This is just great. I mean, again, this is fine. This is fine, but like his team has to match that tempo. I actually get this. I mean, we literally just talked about this actually, because we were talking about aggressive Lucio. This is an aggressive Lucio. Look what this Lucio is doing. But the question is does a Lucio diving a BAP have a lot of value? I'll give you guys a second to think about that. And the answer is yes. This is a significant value, especially if he's got decent mechanics, or she. What needs to happen, though, is we need a little bit of pressure. I need my D.Va on the Pharmacy, so the Mercy can't heal both. I need my D.Va on the BAP, right? I need my Ryan walking forward a little bit, I need my soldier taking an angle, so on. So like what's happened in both of these clips is Elusio's gone for a fine play, but the team is not matching the tempo. Now, that's not necessarily the team's fault. If Lucio is consistently going for plays like this when that's not being called and also not calling it himself or not preparing his team, then this could absolutely be the Lucio's fault. Even though it's the right play, it's not being communicated, it's not being like worked on. So I'm not saying, oh, the person sending these clips is wrong. I'm just saying Lucio's right if right. Okay. Interesting question. How do you recommend playing Pharah into Echo? I feel like I'm just asking to get poked and burned down by her. It's a lot more mechanically challenging to take down Echo as a Pharah than vice versa. Is there something you can just practice better? So obviously, like being better mechanically does help. But understand that what Echo wants to do, like if you play more, like you have more options besides just dueling Echo as Pharah. You can play more range. Like Echo just realistically can't kill you at anything other than mid-range. So what you could do is play more of like have a decent like 15-20 meters distance between her, maybe even more, and just pound her team. And if she comes at you, fly away, take another angle, pound her team. So you have to think about like, what am I better at? I'm better at just abusing people. Like Echo obviously wants to abuse me because she's not as good at like pummeling the enemy team. So if I could just basically play Ring Around the Rosie and have her chase me, but I'm still like beating the crap out of her team, it's not the end of the world. Like people say, oh, Echo's just a better Pharah. No. Echo is very, very good against Pharah in the duel. If you have an Echo Mercy versus a Pharmacy, Echo Mercy will even Echo with a Brig Pocket will almost always beat the Pharah if it's a straight up duel. But the thing with Pharah is you don't have to take the duel. You don't. You can just pummel the team from an angle. You can pummel from more distance. You can put more aggression from a thing here on a high angle there. So they're not. So playing Pharah into Echo, play it, don't die, kill enemy team. And you can do that with playing different angles, playing more range, playing more aggressive at certain periods of time, maybe avoiding the Echo. Like all the answers I can give you, you could figure out on yourself. The only thing I can tell you is it's not an int. You just need to be able to figure it out. When is Pharah ever the pick over Echo? Anytime that you have like any comp that you would benefit from a lot of AoE damage on. So in other words, if you're playing into like 6-man brawl, like the Moira Reaper comp, Pharmacy would be probably better than an Echo Mercy into that because you can actually put out a lot of beating. Like if the enemy team is all clumped up, Pharah beats the crap out of people. The other thing that Pharah is good at is she's very, very, very good on maps with a lot of like Echo is less dependent on vertical cover. She's more flexible. Pharah is not. Pharah needs vertical cover. Think Li Jiang, the points on Night Market and Garden. Pharah is much more strong in that map, but she's much more dependent on that type of architecture. Pharah also doesn't like hit scan as much. Echo doesn't like hit scan as much either, but you would hit scan, like especially if it's like a hit scan that already has like an angle or space, like playing attack Pharah into that can be pretty rough. You have to take pretty deep angles, deep flanks. A lot of it's hero strengths. So because Pharah is a little bit more awkward in certain maps in certain situations, most people don't play her like OTP or like Yazin does. So therefore, most people aren't as good at Pharah as they are Echo. They're like, for example, North America is filled with pretty decent Echoes, but there aren't very many good Pharahs. So generally, that's why most people play Echo. But definitely, if the enemy team has like a lot of sustain and is grouped, like just not sustain, just is grouped. Pharah is better. Pharah is better. How to position on Ilios' Ana. Ruins against snipers. Leaning mega side is helpful. So I can pull this up really fast. It's a good question. There was Ilios was actually coincidentally one of the few maps where like I, as a ranked player, when I was climbing up through around Platinum and Diamond, I actually had to go into game and try out different positions because I was as lost as this guy was. I had no idea where the heck the position. So it's not an easy map for Koth in general. Can be pretty rough as a squishy support because the answers are like not always super obvious. What on earth is this? This is brand new. I'm chat. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Now arriving arriving
I believe.
at Helios.
Ah!
I play to win.
I'm not gonna even go in and fix it. We're just gonna keep rolling the dice.
Now arriving at Helios.
Dang it!
Science
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Third time's the charm. Third time's the charm.
Now arriving at Helios.
No! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Justice ain't
Okay,
gonna do
that's 3 in a row. We got it wrong. We got 3 in a row. We got it wrong, but we got it this time.
Now arriving at Helios.
4 in a row. Okay. Now the odds are not in our favor. Now the odds are not in our favor.
Now arriving at Helios.
No, come on! Please! 5 in a row.
Now arriving at Helios.
6? You're joking me. We're not gonna get 7, are we?
Arriving at Helios.
7.
Justice will
Okay, now I'm just curious. Like, how far can we go?
Now arriving at Helios.
For those who don't know, 8 in a row. I'm trying to get Ilios Ruins. And I can go in the settings and change it so it does, but it was kind of a pain to do that. And it should eventually...
Arriving at Helios.
9. We are now 9 in a row.
World is
Chat, I'm gonna run the numbers. Somebody in chat might have to correct me, but I'm pretty sure I can calculate this. 10. Is it bugged? It's not bugged, is it? I know it's not, but I have to beat it.
Helios.
11.
no dying on.
Now arriving
It's not
at
lighthouse
Helios.
only. There it is, 12. Okay, we have to do the odds right now. I'm pretty sure I can do the odds. You guys let me know if I'm doing this correctly. So the chances of it not being Ilios Ruins is 0.6666666 and so on times 0.6666666. So that's 2. We did 11. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's where we stopped. So there's literally 1% chance of what just happened. Okay, anyway, back to the topic at hand.
cheers, love.
I did the math right, correct? Oh, I wasn't even looking. Hey guys. Okay, so for support positioning versus snipers, like this right here, like you really want to try and play like along the side of the map here. This is really where you want to go. Assuming they're playing snipers, you should be more safe. Like this is a pretty aggressive position in terms of like how forward you are, but this is the best spot for avoiding snipers. And if they're playing snipers in like a Widowmaker, there's one fewer DPS that's going to be harassing you over here. Like I guess if they were running like Reinhardt, Mei, Lucio, and a Widow, that would be pretty ugly because they could just run you over here. So, but this is a good spot to be. Like obviously this is fine here, and like this is okay. Like no, this is really not okay. Like you could also go like here-ish if you're really careful, or like play here. There isn't a really easy answer. And really worst case scenario, if they are playing like a lot of snipers and they're taking a ton of angles, you can sit like here-ish. Like this is cancer. Like I don't recommend it, but like yeah, it's rough. It's rough. There's not an easy answer. Chipsa? Funny you should mention Chipsa. But yeah, I would like again take an angle with cover, but avoid their sightlines. That's what you're looking for. If they're playing against a sniper as a support, avoid their sightlines, but still have an angle in the fight with cover. That's the goal.
With me.
Okay, we keep going. Epic pin. But that's a tough one. There isn't a really easy answer. How do I get my team to obey my comms? Should I worry if they're going for more valuable picks than the target I call? I mean, in ranked, a lot of it is less about target focus and making sure that there's a good plan. So if you're really concerned about improving the quality of your communication, you can do more talking between the fights to help prepare your team with what you want to do next fight. Target focus is oftentimes overrated because a lot of times it's not good for everybody shooting the same target because they're not in a position to shoot the same target. Or maybe they're in a situation where they just can't, or they don't want to, because I'm Reaper. I don't want to be shooting the enemy D.Va. I want to be shooting the enemy Ryan, or I'm Tracer. I don't want to be shooting the enemy Ryan. I want to be shooting the enemy backline. So focus less about how do I command my team to do what they want. No, just say, all right, guys, the next fight, I'm going to push their Ryan really, really, really hard. So get ready to push in aggressive. And maybe they all do something differently to support that, but in a different way. Also, ranked communication is what it is. How should you move while straight shooting with Ashe? Do you strafe just as you shoot to stop the movement? Basically, get a still shot. You shoot while in a strafe. From what I understand, and I'm not a mechanics wizard, so there are other people that are going to be better to ask about this, but from most single shot characters, like shoot, not like tracking heroes, you want to be strafe in like time, like pause, shoot, with strafing in between. Just so that you do give yourself the stabilization, so you remove one of the variables of you missing a shot, which is I'm moving and they're moving and my aim. If it's just them moving and your aim, then it's generally more easy to hit shots, and then trying to strafe between the shots. You'll see this with Widowmakers all the time. Very rarely do you see a Widowmaker doing this and then taking a shot. It'll be shot, right? Same kind of thing with Ashe, although it's a little bit different because Ashe fires a little faster. Should you only strafe left to right for max speed, or is it good to move back and forth as well as diagonally to avoid shots from the sides? Diagonally, not so much. I mean, if you know somebody's on a flank, then yeah, a little bit of forward and back movement can be helpful. But I would this would be something that like I would worry less about. This is only more of an issue if you're worried about like a Tracer one clip on a flank or like a Widow on a flank. And then yeah, a little bit of just like circular movement, like back, forward, is more important. But then again, if you know somebody's on a flank, sometimes it's better to just find cover from that flank than it is to worry so much about strafing. But it's an interesting question. So is it more important to VOD review my games from scrims matches or from solo queue rank? Depends on what you're trying to get better at. If you're trying to get better at solo queue rank, then solo queue rank. If you're trying to get better at scrims matches, then scrims matches. If you're saying I'm trying to get better at both, then both. I mean, they are different skill sets to an extent. There's a reason why, there are players in Overwatch League that can, are like lower end of 4.6k, and why there are players not in Overwatch League who are 4.7. Rank matters, but it's not everything. When should I play Rein Zarya and when should I play Rein D.Va? When there's high ground. When there's high ground or flankers, Rein D.Va is better. I would say 90% of the time, depending on the rank that you're at. If you're at a top 500, I'm going to start giving you more details about how maybe you're playing with a Doomfist. Maybe you're playing with, against like on a Mei map. Like Zarya is very rarely played even on like non-high ground maps because the threat of Mei Brawl, right, is too high. But it depends. Most of the time when there's high ground and you have a good D.Va, play D.Va. And or if the enemy team has like flankers or snipers or things like that. Zarya is very much in a weird spot because she's in Brawl. She's very scared of Mei, who is the most popular Brawl DPS, and she's also useless against comps that aren't Brawl. The exception is obviously like when you're playing Monkey, but like with the strict Rein stuff, Zarya and Rein actually have very limited synergy outside of like mid to low tier ranked. They do not synergize very well, ironically. Why do some teams play Winston instead of D.Va and Brawl when doing the initial TP strat? Unleashing it's for turrets, but it's also just because the enemy team is literally right in a big, fat, succulent, juicy clump. And when you have 5 or 6 members of the enemy team TP in one location, and you could be zapping 6 enemies at the same time and throw a bubble down in the middle of them, that's 10 times more than a D.Va can do. Now, teams can play around that. And then ultimately, like, outside of the first fight, screw you, Cager. Outside of the first fight, Winston's kind of doo-doo, right? And that he's only good in that one TP. Everybody's on top of each other, smash each other. But it's a really, really good cheese to win first fight. I mean, even back in the GOATS day, this was something that people would play. We'd play Rein, Winston, Zarya, GOATS for first fights to cheese. Because you just jump in with Monkey Bubble, you cleave 6, and then you win. It's not good past that first fight, and it's only good when the enemy team is all like in a massive clump. How do you beat Symmetra Kree brawls brawl yourself? You haven't got about Doom Reaper. Doom, just any sort of very, very fast composition will completely roll that over. Symmetra is actually not a good pick with McCree. Because McCree is like, I'm going to take angles, but then your Rein just gets destroyed because you don't have a Mei. And then you can't really play like hardcore fast, like rush in, smash them in the mouth because you don't have a Mei. So like not having Mei in Brawl and then running a Symmetra doesn't make any sense. You just play Doomfist. Play Doomfist. You could even play, like, this comp is actually also fairly weak to Talon Dive as well. Not having the Mei, like, Symmetra is just very fragile, like, against those sort of dives. But not having a Mei, or not having a Torb, you now have Symmetra, Kree, and Bap who you can dive. Like, that's a lot of pressure. So Doomfist, I would say Doomfist Brawl, or I would say Talent Dive, or just straight up poke, because the Mei means they can't rotate as well, and the Symmetra literally can't do anything. So yeah, is it good for practice when you're here? Pull a Tracer, Summon McCree, Ash Widow 76 to split them on 3-on-3 first day. Yeah. Honestly, when you start incorporating like this many heroes, I would say like I would still prioritize like 4 heroes and practice those, and then occasionally play the other ones, or devote an entire month where you're just grinding like 3 or 4 heroes and don't play the other 2 much at all, and then alternate, you know, because I feel like you need at least a little bit of dedicated extra grind time to really like cement some of the hero fundamentals. Like, I could not play Zen for a year and come back and play Zen okay. My aim might be kind of dog, but I have a pretty good idea of like what I needed to be doing. But if I played every single hero every single day for just one game, yeah, I could play for 10 years and probably still not make a whole lot of progress, because I'm not, every single time I start to make progress with a hero, I jump over to another one in the next game. So I would prefer you to limit your hero pool, even temporarily, on like a 3, 4, 5 week basis, and then swap things around as you go. I mean, that's gonna be a little frustrating, because you're gonna be like, I'm getting really good at McCree, and then or Cassidy, and then now I'm playing Tracer again. But yeah, I mean, to play that many heroes at a high level is gonna take a lot of games. Even like I'm talking like 12 to 15 games, and that even then it's pushing it. So you're basically asking me, how do I eat McDonald's and still lose weight? I mean, yeah, you can do it, but it's I'm not very happy about. It's kind of rough. Do you believe a coach in a personal team setting should be encouraging their players to play as efficiently, as cleanly as possible, while giving advice to a random person could largely focus on fundamentals of the sound play? Where do you feel like bold plays and everything? Yeah, I agree. I mean, to me, it's like you want to grind the fundamentals, but you also have to encourage the, like, when you're working with a team for a long time, it's actually more important than even teaching them the fundamentals of positioning and timing, that you encourage them to actually step out as players and figure out things on their own. And then you can coach them along the lines, like the fundamentals of positioning and timing. One of the things, like one of the philosophies with a lot of coaching things that I agree with, is that you teach them your philosophy, the way the game should be played. You teach why it's important, and then you encourage them to go and run with that. And most players, like if you're a good teacher and you have good information, they'll buy into a lot of what you have to say, and then encourage them to kind of go and elaborate, innovate, make plays, speak up. But yeah, I absolutely, like when I, a lot of the times people think like, oh, like Spylo joined the Lynn Spitfire, wasn't their timing perfect and their positioning perfect? Like, I think we made a lot of improvements in those things, but those things take ages to fix and to improve on. And a lot of times, sometimes if your positioning and timing as a team aren't improving, it's because of other issues besides the understanding. Remember, understanding does not equal execution. But yeah, I definitely agree with this. Same context as this, but how would you approach going against Roadhog, Ball, Pharmacy, Tracer? Any sort of dive would probably crush it. Any sort of mobile composition should crush it. You can kill anything there. You can kill Roadhog. Yeah. No, you'd want to Lucio. You want to go quick. You want to quickly run down, because you want to catch this guy, right? You want to catch if this person's hacked, right? I don't think Brig would be the play there. Brig, like, you have to think about, like, if you're playing like Moira Lucio, which you would not be playing like a BAP or something like that. You don't really need the packs. Like, you don't really need not the packs, but you don't really need the peel. Yeah, your Tracer Sombra could get benefit from it, but you just need to move, and so you just need Moira Lucio. And I would say no Kree. Like, you could do it with Kree, but then that's when you'd maybe start to see like the Brig. But then the problem is with stationary comps like that. Like, if you want like Orisa, Kree, Brig, then Pharmacy starts to get kind of scary. Now that could also, it depends on the map too. Like, if I was on Junkertown first defense or first attack, screw running this. I would just play like double shield with a actual hit scan, and then just laugh at the Roadhog Pharmacy. But yeah, like an actual dive map, go dive. But this is where you definitely want the Moira. Because your tempo, like, chase down everything that you can. With over to On the Horizon. I want to keep coaching my reference, whatever is in the game, in real life, etc. I don't want to transition over to whatsoever. Wow. Okay. Are there other games that have a similar immature scene compared to Overwatch? Honestly, mate, no flipping idea. The one thing I can tell you is that it is fine to transfer to over games. A lot of your experience and knowledge will carry over, and you will also be surprised if you do transition to an FPS, how much carries over. I can tell you that much, but I can't tell you. I don't know jack about Valorant, CS:GO. Not necessarily. I know like the scene, especially. Like no flipping idea. Hypothetically speaking, if I were to make a King's Row guide, what would the key bits to include? The high ground on first is wildly underrated in terms of clearing, holding as defenders, taking as attackers, going around the right side. So I'm just gonna like draw, like there's the main choke here and there's the statue and here's the point, right? Going up through this way and taking this high ground, or going through stairs and taking the high ground is really strong. Now, as defenders, you generally don't want to stand on high ground as 6, but you can hold up forward or around the statue, or you can hold angles around point and have somebody on high ground. But yeah, the high ground on first is like defines that point. That's why you see some teams playing dive on King's Row first. That's why you see some teams playing like a Zenyatta on first attack, because if you can protect him and you can rotate him to high ground, now he has a ridiculous angle on point. There's just so many things that you can do with first point. Like first point is like the most diverse point on King's Row. Second point, obviously that first choke just outside the here's the point, and then you push the point, and then this choke right here, if you can hold this choke, it's busted, not just because it's a choke, but also because the flank angles on that choke are terrible. So for an attacker, you can only flank around this way, which is really split from your team. It takes a long time. Or you can go out the window above the thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. And that's also not, that's difficult, it's tricky, and it's not accessible for a lot of heroes. So that's why that choke was so nasty to hold. That was very important. The high ground on all of second is very important to clear and or hold when you're retaking or attacking or defending, excuse me. You need to like clear out all those angles, use some of those angles. You can do all sorts of cute little weird things. It really depends on your composition, but those high ground angles are really important. Third point is where things actually get kind of weird, because there's so few flanks that you can take on third point that heroes like Tracer are just usually not very good. You generally, when you go to third point, you start playing ranged heroes because it is too easy to abuse the high grounds on third point and the longer sidelines. And because there's not a lot of flanks, Tracer can work, but she's really hard to play in that point. So that's when you start to see Hanzos, Widows, Ashes. You can see some Echo every now and then, Cassidy, all that kind of stuff. So you take these high ground angles, you take these longer sidelines, and you do try and clear or take or deal with the few angles that they are. So if you're on attack here, you've just capped, this is kind of like what the point, what the payload path looks like. This little side area here, we've talked about that a lot in the past. That's important. The high ground up here, that's also important. If you're just attacking initially here, it's good for you to try and get people in through this angle here and start to poke out this way. All that kind of stuff, right? Like these, there's not many of them, so there's really no excuse. Also, like the mega area in here, you need to kind of clear out those spaces if you can. But King's Row is actually all about the high ground, on first, on second, on third, because the high ground in King's Row is really the flanks, because there aren't many good flanks on King's Row. There's Hotel on first. There is on second, right? Again, you get through that nasty choke here, right? And then you go right? So you guys know what I'm talking about, right? This is second point. This is the mega room. And this is the up here. And then you have like boiler over here. This flank around here, you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? This like little mini health pack over here. And this is library, right? Library right here. Like there's a little mini library or bookstore or whatever. This flank around here is pretty important, and you can either attackers or defenders can do it. But yeah, it's like all about the high grounds. The flanks in King's Row are incredibly awkward and clunky, which is a lot of times why the high ground is important. It's actually a really weird map, very weird map. You would be surprised that like some of the compositions that work on that map are not at all what you'd expect. Like unironically, sometimes Orisa comps are actually better than Rein comps on the map just based off of the high ground. And when you get a third, playing Rein comps can be kind of tragic if you're playing into a lot of DPS. How many supports should I play? Is limiting my pool smart move to? Yes. It depends on how many hours you play. If you play anything under 2 hours a day, you should play no more than 2 supports. If you play anything under 3 or 4 hours a day, you should play no more than 3 supports. And then past 3, I don't really recommend anybody playing more than like 4 heroes, even if you play the game a ton. But it's up, yeah. Yeah, I would say a 2 hero pool is a good thing to aim for, because that makes you play 2 hours a day. You can improve with 2 hours a day. It allows you to kind of pick which hero fits best for the situation. Maybe that hero is already picked. Like I'm an Ana OTP. Oh no, they picked Ana. I'm just gonna throw the game, right? Well, no, I can also play Zen. I can also play Blap. I can also play Brig and go from there. Okay. My voice is tired, and I forget that I did this entire thing with makeup on. I just completely forgot. Like Okay, oh, that's me. But yeah, hope you guys found that helpful. Not as much roasting today. Maybe if one of you guys sends in a tier 1 VOD request and we work it out, then maybe we'll get some roasting in. But I like these days. I like these days because it's been a long time. We can kind of go in and feel like we offer some good information, and then also just like prepare for next season. Obviously going to be coming back next season in Overwatch League, so we will see how that goes. And yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some roster announcements soon, but we'll keep you guys I'll keep you guys in the loop. But yeah, you guys have any last questions before we wrap this sucker up? I'm gonna try and find a small streamer. You know what? I found not a small streamer, but I want you guys to we'll host hybrid. How about that? Good luck next season. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Had fun. Chipsa? Chipsa's not streaming anymore. Wait, Landon is streaming. Landon Overwatch. All right, I'm hosting this guy. This guy's cracked. All right. You guys remember, we featured him on stream not too long ago. Okay, cheers, mates. Tell Landon I said hello, and I will see you guys later. Spider up.
What do I want to play? We're fucking...